And
I don't know why that is though. Like I cannot control it. It's so instinctual for me to, if I die suddenly in a video game, that it triggers some.
Me too. Primal
animalistic thing where you just got fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and it's always this move. It's always for me. It's always this move. It's like.
Yeah.
It's always like I look to the left and I.
That seems specifically like a Conan O'Brien anger for some reason, which is good. That's good. This is our Pop. This is Pop.
Look at this good
you just
boy.
Resub? Looks legit. Did I just miss your resub? Did I miss your resub? I'm sorry. I want to talk about this though because before we talk about French,
you seem here
I
right
am.
now.
I am. I was so angry, and I literally started this stream because last time I fought this boss, I was like, I got really angry. And this time, and I've done it so many times where I go, I'm not gonna get mad, guys. I'm not getting mad.
Oh, that's
I'm not even. And it's just like
because then you think
you're stacking failure upon failure.
You're trying to tell your brain like I'm not gonna get mad, so therefore I can play better.
Yes.
But then you don't play better, and then it triggers something deep inside you.
So, and I think what it is honestly is I'm not. It's this weird comedy. I'm not good at video games. I play them like more than I ever have, and I never did. I played whatever. I played the Batman games a lot. I would play whatever. I think it's just, it's like.
What is being good at a video game though? Because like, is it just like being able to play fast?
I don't know.
And like accomplish everything within a game at like an incredibly fast rate? Because I don't know, like I'll watch stuff on YouTube of people playing stuff like very efficiently, just like Super Mario World when I'm trying to figure out how to beat a level or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you can do it that way. Boy, it didn't seem fun though.
Yeah,
it didn't seem fun to play the way you're playing.
So yes, there are games. So there are games like Turtles in Time or something, which was like my favorite. And I was like, I died, but who cares? And then you're like, oh, cool, and I'll die again. Oh man, I die a lot. I died 2-3 times. Then I'll get the boss. You know,
right?
Like at the hardest, right?
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And there are people who take games like that and they learn how to just like go and like beat it in 15 minutes.
Right.
Because they
using like 3 moves. Like,
and it's like and they need to learn how to do it efficiently and stuff. And people do that with every game. And this Dark Souls game, to me is like. It's like beating it normally kind of requires you to learn it sort of that way, a little bit. I mean, you can get lucky and kill something or whatever, but like,
just the way it's set up, you're gonna.
This game it's a mean-spirited game.
Yeah,
it feels like it's out to get you. Well, and it really just kind of. The thing with the video game to me is that it feels like failure all the time.
Yeah. And
it just rubs it in your face. And I go, another human created this as a game for humans.
Do you feel
like a pastime? So I'm like, that person thinks this is easy, and other people think it's easy.
But are you getting angry because I feel like there's certain types of like complexity to games to make them harder.
Sure.
And sometimes it feels like, okay, wow, I feel like I really earned that. And sometimes you're like, you guys are trying to just fuck me.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to make this as difficult as possible, and not even using legitimate.
So there are times when I get it. Yes.
Yeah.
There's some things about, but like
that's when I get the most mad when I'm like, this isn't.
It's not.
It's like it's not good programming. Yeah. Like and like it, and you're using it to your advantage somehow. That type of stuff.
Sure.
I'm getting all hot and bothered.
I know.
Just talking about.
I know. Well, good. Thank you. That feels cathartic to me because it's not. I'm glad. Yes. So I got very mad at this game, and but it also often coincides when I'm like, I gotta. No, it looks legit. Scription. It is hot. Gosh, was it hot downstairs?
No.
It just gets hot in here because of the computers and because of my anger.
You're permeating emotion.
Just putting it out. Scription. Thank you for the subscription. Subscription. Thank you. Hey, Papa. I love you. You are warm.
Oh yeah, he's at like 15 degrees.
Do my groin.
Yes,
Look at that good boy, though.
He's a sweet boy. Thank you, Looks Legit, for those 2 months, dude. That first resub. Thank you, man. Very much appreciated. Lots of love.
He's such a good boy.
Pup says hey.
Yeah.
He doesn't really say hey because he doesn't know what's going on. Well, I don't know. Am I giving you not enough credit or too much credit?
He's like, you're giving me the perfect amount of credentials.
All right.
Smartest boy in the room right there.
Papa do. All right, sweet boy. All right. Well, cool. Yeah, so I'm mad. So let's talk about some film.
But was it you didn't
This is a fight it's a fair fight. And it's very good. But there are times with that game where I like, because the big thing about it is like rolling out of the way in time. And that's a lot of it. That's a lot of it comes down to rolling out of the way of an attack in time. And generally, I feel like I have like an okay grip handle on it. But then each enemy and each boss has like a different. You have to learn. They have different attacks, and so it's like whatever. I just.
Is it ever like something where it's like, okay, you got X amount of lives, and then oh no, we're sending you back to. I'm assuming this is a more intricate game, but I always get frustrated when you die a certain amount of times. Like, cool, you're done. Now you're gonna go all the way back to the beginning of the level, and then you got to redo all this other stuff to get back.
So this game is like that.
It is.
This fight is not like that. This fight is like I think most people say it's one of the harder ones, and in the. I mean, there's like 3 bosses left in this game,
but you know how to beat him. You just can't beat him yet.
So I beat him. I've fought him once. I mean, I beat him once, and that was like a year and a half ago because I haven't played this game all the way through like a year in about that time, and so I'm playing through it for the second time, and It's a thing where I feel like I beat, but then I just get off and like I just get nailed by stuff, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I get stuck on a wall and I can't move, and like I don't know. Yeah.
Be a better gamer. I don't know.
I know. That is
get gooder.
That's it. That is frequently the advice. They go get good.
Get good.
Anyway. Well, good. I'm glad that. Thank you for commiserating with me. I'm glad that there's someone else.
I just like to enjoy games. I don't like to get good at them.
Spider-Man sounds like a lot of fun.
It's amazing. And even when you get frustrated, there's just like, you're like, oh, you died? Okay, cool. We'll just put you right back where you died. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
And even...
No, Nameless pissed me off too, though.
And the combos are so cool, and you don't have to know a lot of stuff to make these... He just moves in such a way that you're just like, wow, I really feel like I'm Spider-Man without having to like be super great at it.
And that's the Batman thing.
That's what it is.
That was the winner. Yeah, hey, Sir Chewbacca.
Yeah, Spider-Man PS4 is great.
Yeah.
Super great.
Yeah,
I'm about to hand it over to him, but I'm gonna beat it at 100%, and then I'm gonna get it out of my life because it's been taking up a lot of late hours.
Maybe it's a good antidote.
I think it will. You're gonna love it,
so
dude.
to speak.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that offer. I'll give you Dark Souls, and your life will be worse.
I don't even want it at all.
No, I like it. Oh man.
Who watched?
I get that, Heath. I felt that way until I got a PS4.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I was reading reviews of it online of like the Spider-Man game, and it was funny how like people who clearly only owned like an Xbox or were Xbox people, they were like, doesn't look that good. I was like, guys, if anything, it looks great.
It does look amazing. Yes. And then people, because some things look great, and then you're just like, nah, whatever. But then I don't think there's a person who's been like, nah, it's all right.
It's like I asked someone, I was like, did they push it back? Like, was it supposed to release at a certain time and then they pushed it back? And they said no, because it is so polished.
Yeah.
Like, it is so polished.
Yeah.
And there are bugs in the game, but like, on the whole, the gameplay and the visuals and the story and everything, and the way it all interweaves so fluidly and everything, it is just a polished game. And I was shocked at how good the story was, because that's the last thing I expected from that game.
That's crazy.
And it's my favorite interpretation of Spider-Man.
Wow.
Like, better than the movies.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man 2 from Raimi is like one of my favorite comic book movies, and like it is my favorite interpretation of Spider-Man. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Anyways,
that's a glowing endorsement. Let's do a little something. And Jeff, I think, was going to ask you guys something.
Who has watched the movie we're going to be talking about tonight? The French Connection, directed by Billy Friedkin. Starring Gene Hackman, Roy Scheider. Who here watched it? Give us a 1 if you watched it.
Jeff is just trying to prove that you're just trying to prove that you saw it by telling everyone who starred in it and who directed it. No, I'm saying.
I said Billy Friedkin because
you're friends.
I'm friends with him.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like I've seen lots of awesome PS4. That is a knock against the Xbox, which I like a lot. I like the Xbox.
I love the
fan.
Xbox. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a knock on it. One of them, actually, strangely enough, one of the great that I need to go back to, and it'd be interesting to play now because I haven't played it. Because when I played it, I still was I didn't play very many video games. It's called Sunset Overdrive, and it's made by the same people who did Spider-Man. Sunset Overdrive is great. It's freaking awesome. I really, really like it.
What kind of game is that?
It is similar. I see why they were chosen to do the Spider-Man game.
Because I'd never heard of Insomniac before this, and it's so well done that I'm like, oh, so you guys... Because, it is incredibly well done.
Yeah.
So I would be curious to see some of their other stuff.
Sunset Overdrive is really... It's like this wacky... it's post-apocalyptic, but not in that... So, you hear post-apocalyptic game. Still so high adrenaline. I got to slow down. And you think, dark and
dire.
And this thing is just like day glow, really, just really fun looking. It's one of the few original properties didn't ever exist where I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks immersive and great and just really distinctive.
Is it on the PS3 or?
No, it's on the Xbox.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Hold on a second. We're gonna do a thing here. Plow. Yeah.
So has anyone watched the movie?
Are we tagging anybody? And honestly,
and if you haven't, that's cool. We're gonna talk about it, so you'll learn about it. But watch it because it's one of the best movies ever made. And I'll be curious because we've never really talked about it at length.
You and I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have not. I agree.
But it's one. I know it's one of my favorites.
I do, and I was interested to watch it for that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It had been years, and on first viewing, I was kind of like, okay,
sure.
Now hold on. Hold.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, look
strong fucking jaw. Oh, yeah.
Poor Scheider's being edged out there. Sometimes say Halo is too small to the bigger part. Didn't have to hang their hat on Halo. Fair point. Hey guys, did you watch it? Hey, anybody watch French Connection? Oh. One's for I watched French Connection. I'll just try to we'll give you the Hackman.
The son of a bitch is here, and I'm gonna get him.
Yeah. Wait, Jenny, that's not a 1. So that's a no. Okay, that's fair. Anybody watch it? To be fair, it took me a long time to be like, hey, this is the movie we're watching. So I think,
oh, that's cool.
It was Thursday, I think, before I was like, oh, crap.
Well, either way, it's going to be a fun one to talk about.
It is. Which button for my movie viewing partner is flying back to a different country right now? That's you did it. You pushed the correct buttons into succession to let us know that. Anyway, let's talk about it. So here we go. Just to kick us off here, we're gonna hop on to
get a little synopsis.
The old IMDb. And the French Connection.
But this ain't no arty movie. Like,
true.
This
Very
is not.
true.
This is not some
Very
introspective, New Hollywood, 5 easy pieces type thing. This is the polar opposite. It is it's just a freaking great cop thriller.
It's a Friedkin great.
It's freaking great.
A pair of NYC cops in the narcotics bureau stumble upon a drug smuggling job with a French connection. Well done. Well done, IMDb. Very nice. This is.
But it's all about Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider, who are right behind us, trying to bust these guys who are trying to smuggle in $32 million worth of heroin in a Buick.
Yep.
And it's about that whole case and them and Gene Hackman getting more and more obsessed throughout the movie with getting these guys no matter what, or whose cars he steals and ruins and who he shoots to take them down. Doesn't matter to him. It's a great examination of a guy just pushing himself to the limit in terms of, like, by the end, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care who he's hurting in order to, he's got to get his guy.
Yeah.
And that's what's fascinating about it to me.
Yeah. We've all been there. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I see, Heath. I saw you, and you said that last time. I just, we kind of decide the movie after the stream based sometimes on how the stream goes and what the reaction to the film was and how the conversation went. And we just kind of like to feel it out. So, I get you. But, I don't know. So at Ocean's 11 gets a synopsis. Yes. Yes, it is. So basically, we've got two cops. Jimmy Popeye Doyle, played by Gene Hackman, and Cloudy Russo, I believe is his last name. I don't know what his real name is. This is based on a book. I actually don't know, and this is something I wish I'd looked up. I don't know if it's based on true events at all.
It is.
Is it?
Yes. And the guy who
wrote it? Who wrote the novel?
I don't know about the novel. Is it based on a novel?
Yes.
It is.
Here, will you hand me that green thing?
Because all I know is it is based on an actual case, and it's based on two real cops who were intimately involved in the making of this movie.
Really?
And who are both in the movie. And one of them has he plays the sergeant
He's the sergeant?
So that's the
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's great, right?
He's so great.
He's great. And he's the real Popeye Doyle. Yeah. Not an actor. That's a real cop.
No.
And they followed and the other guy's also in there. I can't remember what part he plays, but they are both in there, and they both just hung out with them for like a month.
No way.
And like they would go and bust bars, and like they do in the movie where they bust drug bars and get all the shit from under the table and everything. Like,
that is mind-blowing to me.
It is.
That is mind-blowing to me because...
And Gene Hackman hated him. Because he's a racist bigot.
Oh, that's
who's willing to do anything to get his man. Like, that's who he was.
Sonny Grosso? Who's this? Who are you talking about? Who's Sonny Grosso? Sorry, who are you talking about? Oh, real life.
Eddie Egan, yeah.
Eddie Egan and Sonny Grosso. Oh, you're right. That's him.
Yes.
Eddie Egan as Walt. There you go. Yeah, who's Sonny Grosso? Okay, let's get this.
And there was a lot of like controversy when the movie came out. I say controversy, but more like jealousy, and maybe rightfully so, because it took hundreds of people from different departments within not only the police but the FBI and like all these different things in order to make the heroin bust happen, and actually succeed. But Friedkin, frankly, I feel rightfully so, he was like, yeah, but that's not the movie I was making. He was like, I only wanted to make this movie because when I met Eddie Egan, I was so enraptured by his personality, which you see in the movie. Because again, not an actor, but he's great in the film.
He's fantastic.
He's fantastic.
He's so good. And that's so crazy because Akash and I were watching it today, and she went into because our daughter cried, and she went into to kind of put her back to sleep, and I was watching it, and saw that scene, and she came back in, and I was like, I got to play this scene for you.
Oh, really?
Actually, another scene, but then I let that scene play as well because it was just so great. Like I paused and we just talked about how much I was like, it just doesn't seem like acting for any of them. And I also love his interaction with the Fed dude. Starts with an M.
Oh yeah,
that. And I thought at first I thought you were gonna say he was one of the cops, and I was like, good.
And
nice.
he might be Sonny Grosso or Grosso.
Then Friedkin,
he's in it too somewhere.
Then Friedkin is ridiculous. Then Friedkin is a truly great director.
And here's the thing, like,
oh, that's hilarious.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. What's the name of the cop drama?
Oh, I want to just be credited for creating an old school Canadian cop drama. Just Mounties.
It's called Mounties. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like down the streets of Toronto.
It's Hill Street Blues. Oh shit! Is it for real? Night Heat.
Night Heat.
Huh. Why do I get all those mixed together, like Hill Street Blues? And,
it got referenced so much by people older than me or in Canadian satire shows. Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Are they Mounties? Good.
But here's the thing about Friedkin. He was going so much for a documentary approach with this film that he initially wanted to cast a non-actor for the Pi Doyle role. And he was like, he knew like a film critic or a theater critic who had like a big abrasive personality. And he even got him really drunk one night at a bar in New York and was like, you gotta do this part. He's like, what are you talking about?
That's crazy.
Like, I can't do that. I'm not an actor. And he eventually wore him down over the evening to the point where he got him to do 3 auditions over the course of 3 days. And the first day, apparently, he nailed it. And he was great. And then he got too much in his head. And the second day, he was terrible. And then the third day, he was really bad. And so they had to go somewhere else with it. But
well, that's too bad.
But that's where his mindset was at. He was willing to put a non-actor like in the main role of the movie.
Jimmy Breslin. Oh.
Yeah.
Strongly opposed. Friedkin was strongly opposed to the choice of Hackman for its lead. Paul Newman, interesting. Jackie Gleason. Peter Boyle.
Peter Boyle would have been great.
That's crazy.
Peter Boyle, who's, you know, a lot of people know him as the old dad from the cranky dad from Everybody Loves Raymond, but he was a Taxi Driver, like he had young Frankenstein, like he had a storied career of the 70s. Yeah. He would have been a perfect Doyle. Yeah. But he read the script and he was like, I don't want to do stuff like this anymore, because he had just done out like a hardcore crime movie right before.
Was it Joe?
Yes,
I feel like it was probably Joe.
Yeah. And so he did that, and he was like, I want to do a rom-com next.
Yeah.
And he said no. But boy, would he would have been great. He would have been great.
Yeah. But I mean, like, Hackman is
But Hackman won an Oscar for this.
Yeah.
But like, he was Friedkin's, like, Friedkin said he was like, he wasn't even my first, second, third, or fourth choice. He wasn't a choice for me at all. Like, I was essentially forced to take him or not make the movie. So he was stuck with Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
But this was before. This is what broke Gene Hackman out.
Yes, of course.
Gene Hackman had been in Bonnie and Clyde and a few other movies, but had not really anchored a movie, I feel like. And
yeah, I mean, because
he was nominated and he won an Oscar for this performance.
Yeah, he'd done Bonnie and Clyde and two other movies.
Yeah. And he was good in all of them, but like this was like a completely different role for him, and he hated William Friedkin. Like they did not get along on set.
Yeah,
and on
which makes sense.
Which makes sense
because those guys didn't get along with anybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Well,
Gene Hackman's kind of known for being a little cranky.
Cantankerous, yeah.
He's even said that he's always had father issues, and so he just deals with authority in a very difficult way. So he's always battling directors.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's so interesting how often that is the case with like actors who just seem like who played like a lot of like big tough guy roles.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that like I don't know. Maybe everyone has father issues, but in terms of like I don't know. It's just interesting, and it's also weird for me kind of to think of Gene Hackman as a tough guy, even though he like you'll see like tough guy actor Gene Hackman, and I go, is he? Oh, okay, yeah, he is. He like I think he is by virtue of the fact that like I mean he's in this movie roughing people up.
Yeah.
But to me, he's so so human.
The first scene of the movie, he's roughing up a guy, and when they initially filmed it, they spent a whole day filming this scene, and at the end, Friedkin was like, they didn't get a take. They spent a whole day on it.
Wow.
And everyone was in agreement that they were like, this isn't it. This isn't working. So much so that Gene Hackman went to Friedkin that night after day 1 and was like, I'm not your guy. Like, I don't think I can give you what you want. And Friedkin, he tried to reassure him, but secretly he was thinking
the same thing.
He was just like, yeah, I'm fucked over here.
Wow.
Like, this is not good.
Wow.
But they managed to just kind of work through it, and then they returned to that scene at the end of production and redid it.
He was the guy.
And he was the guy by that point.
That's very interesting.
But he was stuck with Gene Hackman, and they just had to make it work, and somehow they did.
That's a good thing to be stuck with. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But this is interesting. So Paul Newman, who this is out of the budget range. Jackie Gleason, which is very interesting.
And he wanted him, but the head of the studio, who was on his way out. And the only reason he was like, I got $1.5 million tucked away. I'm about to be fired. I've got a little left in the budget for the year. Do you want this? Can you make it for $1.5 million? They needed $2.5 million, but they said yes. And they're like, cool. Here's your $1.5 million. Go. And he was like, cool. I want to cast Jackie Gleason in this. That's who I want in the main role. And he was like, you can do whatever you want, but you cannot have Gleason. I hate that guy.
This is Friedkin?
This is the head of the studio telling Friedkin that he cannot have Jackie Gleason. Because he wanted Jackie Gleason.
Gotcha.
Which would have been cool.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is significantly after The Hustler, which is like his other big kind of... I think he was like nominated for The Hustler. The Hustler is... Man, I remember finishing that movie and being like it takes a turn and gets dark.
I need to... I think I saw that when I was like 14.
Yeah.
So I need to revisit that one.
Yeah, it was, Peter Boyle. And then it says, and then Jimmy Breslin, who's this columnist. Steve McQueen.
Sure. Because he had just done Bullet.
And he said he didn't want to do it, which I was like, yeah, this is like, it's like, Bullet and the French Connection are basically like, this is the car chase. But I mean, I have seen both. I know,
Bullet's dry.
I'm not a huge. I'd have to watch it again. It's been years.
I don't know. It just got. I guess it's because of the history of it, and they're like, oh, it's got one of the greatest car chases.
Yeah,
and
right.
I'm like,
and you could you watch.
I'm like, it's got a nice car chase, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's a dull movie.
Well, and it's funny because that's what they're both. I mean, Bullet's like 68,
something like that.
Close. I mean, really
close.
Pretty close to
Connection 72.
And they're both kind of known as like that era gritty crime dramas with a great chase scene.
Yeah.
But French Connection, and I have to watch because I sort of felt similarly about French Connection the first time I watched it. I was
Me too. I was like, "Where's this big car chase?"
Well,
then I was like, "Oh, there's not even a car chase.
Yeah.
He's chasing a train."
Yeah.
And I was let down the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
I was.
To persevere through so much is still yes, absolutely. Movies are effing ridiculous to make.
It is so crazy what this movie went through for it to have turned out as brilliant as I truly do think it is.
Yeah, and
And it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, it was one of those film god things where like everything just kind of aligned the way it needed to. They came up with the whole train, him chasing the famous car chase, which is him actually chasing an elevated train.
Right, yeah.
They're in the middle of production. They're like, we need to really talk about what this car chase is because we have it in the script as car chase, but we don't know what that means. And they spent like 15 hours, like him and the stunt guy or who's in charge of it or whatever. They just walked around New York City for like 15 hours.
Wow.
And they're like, we're not coming back to this apartment until we have blocked all this out of what it's going to be.
Dude, that's insane.
And they came up with all the beats of it within this one walk all around New York City and
crazy.
Back in one little loop. And they just did it. It was Friedkin and him, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, and oh my gosh, it is truly great.
It's truly great.
It is heart pounding.
And like the editing is like phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
And they had cut that whole scene together without when you watch the movie, you'll notice that there's a lot of shots they use during the chase where they clearly mounted like a wide-angle lens on the front of a car.
Right.
And it's just like you're barreling down the New York City streets.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing they put in because they had cut the whole scene together and like it's good.
Oh wow!
But it's not great.
Yeah.
And then when you watch it now, it's like half of it.
Yeah, that is what I remember. I mean, it's just the I mean,
and so they finished it, and the stunt guy was like, "So what do you think?" And Friedkin is like a really blunt asshole, and he was just like, "Honestly, it's not that I'm not that impressed with what." And he didn't say we. He's like, with what you came up with.
Right.
And the stunt guy got so pissed. He was like, you know what? Fine. Show up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and be ready to shoot. And I'll show you what it's worth.
That's amazing. But see, and I feel like sometimes that focus, that energy, that sort of whatever, it's like that powder keg kind of thing. Sometimes, I mean, that creates brilliance. It truly is true. Like you hear about some of these. I mean, so many of the most iconic lines, iconic scenes, iconic moments in films are accidents.
Yeah.
And so many of them are whatever. And so many movies that are like just brilliantly hilarious, and you're like, everyone must have like really gelled on set. And you hear stories, and you're like, oh no, they were at each other's throats constantly. I mean, it really is fascinating.
It's really interesting. And like, but the most fascinating part of that whole thing is when they went to get that front angle, wide angle shot, they had 0 permits because they were supposed to be wrapped on this whole sequence. So they had 0 permits.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't use any extras. And so
or stunt cars?
So the stunt driver got into the car, they strapped the camera to the hood to the front. Friedkin got in because he was like, if you're going to do this, I'll do it with you. And then they had a cop in the back seat in case they got pulled over to flash his badge, be like, it's cool.
That's crazy.
So it was the 3 of them in the car.
It's just the worst idea of all time.
Yeah. And it's and in Friedkin's biography, he talks about, he was like, I would never do this now. And I regret doing, even though it made the chase scene, I regret doing it because it legitimately put people's lives in danger. And we were just lucky enough to get it done. Because what they did is they all got in the car, and then this guy floored it to 95 miles an hour under the L train in a busy New York City street at like 8 a.m. And everything you see in the movie is real. So all the cars that are dodging out of the way and stuff, those are actual cars. And people dodging out of the way. Those are real people jumping out of the way of a car going 95 miles an hour with a camera strapped to the hood.
That's insane because I was watching it and going like, man, they've got these other stunt drivers are great. And like, it's just like, it's insane. I mean, they must have gotten releases. No, they didn't even get releases.
Because it was so fast, and particularly at this time in the 70s in New York City, the Film Commission apparently was like utter garbage. So they were just like, they didn't have to do any of that. And like, it was a super duper sketchy way of handling that. But they got it, and it worked.
And that's amazing, and it's one of the most. I mean, it's just
it is the nail biter.
It's the chase scene.
Yeah, it's great.
It's the chase scene in film. Like, there's no other car chase. Bullet is the other one that will get mentioned, but it's the French Connection. It's the French Connection,
and it's because they use. It is so intense, and like the looks on Gene Hackman's face are so wrought with emotion. Yeah. But like, you are never lost as to where you are in the terms of geography with that car and that train.
Absolutely,
it is so calculated. That's why the editing is so brilliant.
It's such solid, clear filmmaking.
Yeah,
it really is. And it really, like, I'm watching it, and I because it started up, and I was kind of like, okay, you know, like I was like, it's been years. I wasn't crazy about it.
Right.
We started it up, and there's the black screen, and then it's like,
that music. Yeah.
And I was just like. And I was like, I turned to the couch, I was like, I hate this. I mean, I was joking, but I was like, yeah. But once it gets going, it just gets going. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I'm in it. And then it sets things up for a little while, but then you're just like, and it really is, it moves on the strength for a long time. It moves on the strength of the relationship between Popeye and Cloudy, between Hackman and Scheider.
Yeah. And it just like because he chose to approach it as a almost as a documentary. Like they didn't use almost any film lights.
Yeah.
Like they would maybe add a couple practical lights, which are lights that you see on set within a scene, which are just kind of normal lights, like a lamp or whatever. But he was pretty hard on his cinematography. He was like, I don't want to light this movie.
Yeah.
I want it to look the way a real... So it's this amazing document of what 1971 looked like in New York City.
I mean, it really...
Which was garbage.
Yeah, it's true. And and there's just so many great, shots of like steam just cascading off the street. It's awesome. And it's but yeah, like I mean, you're just watching like it feels guerrilla. It feels so indie because there's like Hackman's tailing somebody and you're just watching Gene Hackman walk across and you're just like they just whipped out a camera and did it.
And they did, and that's what they did.
That's what it feels like, and it's really crazy. It's really great.
That's half my like. Well, I mean, it's a great, brilliant movie, but like, I find it revisiting it so much because I just like, I'll just keep it on in the background because like the look of it and the feel of it, because like you're like you can feel how cold it is sometimes because just that harsh morning sunlight, that you only get in winter has a certain look to it. Yeah. It's throughout the whole movie, and you're just like, God, that just looks bitter cold. Yeah, because it was. Yeah, because it really was.
And but yeah, when I'm watching it and it keeps, and it's like I said, it's like early on you're like, oh no, I haven't. That looks insane. Mandy looks nuts. Have you seen the trailer for Mandy?
Yeah,
that looks crazy.
I really want to see that. I think it's actually playing at the Draft House
right now. Yeah,
yeah,
because it just did it. It showed at Fantastic Fest.
I saw Hold the Dark earlier. I've been watching a lot of movies today.
Good for you.
I went to the theater
watch movies.
and saw Jeremy Saulnier's new movie, who did Green Room and Blue Ruin. It's called Hold the Dark. I think it's on Netflix tonight. Yeah. Oh. I think it got released tonight.
Is it amazing?
I think it's my least favorite of his three. Oh. It's impeccably directed and impeccably shot. Like it's a gorgeous, menacing, but it is so dark without any sense of hope that it just felt like I was getting pummeled the whole time. And then also it was very confusing and not in a good way. Yeah. Like I didn't understand any character motivation throughout almost the whole movie. And then I was like, maybe it'll have this wrap up ending. That'll be a twist. And it really didn't even give me that. And I was just like, okay, well, you directed the hell out of that thing, but that script is weird.
Interesting. Yeah, that axe in the trailer looks insane.
Yeah,
it's great. But it also, there was like early on in the trailer, there's like a quote that says like it's, what did it say? Like if Jodorowsky directed Death Wish or something, or directed some whatever, and I was like, ooh, that's a good quote. And yeah, the trailer looks insane. Looks insane. Just straight up crazy.
Is that streaming? Like, is that available to watch?
I don't know.
Because I want to see it so bad.
Yeah, it looks nuts. It was amazing. That's
awesome. When Nick Cage is doing great stuff, there's no one better.
No, yeah, it's like he's such a it's just crazy that actors like Nicolas Cage and Christopher Walken are known today as like memes, and I'm like,
yeah,
but go back and watch, because Nicolas Cage is one of the most like risky, daring.
Watch Leaving Las Vegas, and then tell me he's not one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah. Mug Monster, sweet, cool. Yeah. But so anyway, so I'm watching French Connection, and I'm like, yeah, and like it's going, it's again, early on, it's the connection between it's the relationship between the two cops, that's great, and then. But then I just kind of started. I was like, oh yeah. So in '71, a lot of just the compositions, or not even the compositions, the movement within a shot, is just stuff that you go like, this has a legacy in action films, stretching, going forward. I mean, like there are these things that I'm just like, I can see where that might not have, and it is this very doc style sort of thing. Like there's. I think it's during the tailing thing where it's just like it's on one guy and then it just it pans the whole crowd and just goes to another guy and then pans it. It just sweeps across and whatever. And I'm like, there's stuff like that where I was like, yeah, this is. I feel like this was maybe new in the 70s, in 71. I feel like I don't know.
But it really was because again,
Deluxe.
We're coming out of the 60s, and
negligent. Yeah, go ahead, keep talking.
But even more so than like even Scorsese had more of like a formalism to his movies and stuff. Like this just feels raw.
It does. It really
dirty,
does.
And like you're just there.
I agree.
Great.
I agree. Thank you for the subscription. Negligent tortfeasor. Thank you for those 19 months of unbelievable support, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. How are you? I hope things are good. Lots and lots of love. We're talking French Connection. We're talking the French Connection.
Hot damn.
So, yeah, agreed. So basically, I mean, we kind of, I mean, it is about a drug bust. They get notice that there's this huge shipment. What is it, like $1.5 million or no, it's like ultimately gonna be like $38 million.
When they break it down, like because it's like pure heroin, like
Right.
89% pure heroin,
Right.
and when you cut it up and spread it out over like the city, it's like $32 million worth.
Yeah.
And like the city's dry, like nobody
Yeah.
knows where to score good dope anymore, so everybody's kind of waiting for this shipment to come in so everybody can get well again.
Yeah,
which I thought was a great line in the
nice.
movie.
Yeah. I mean, really, it is. I mean, you just, and that's part of it. Is like part of it is they throw you in there and you kind of have to kind of like glean what people are, glean from the dialogue that like, oh, this means this means that.
Oh yeah,
it's very,
there's not
any
any exposition in this movie.
Yeah.
You just go and you have to kind of really
catch up. Yeah.
And not only pay
up.
attention, but you got to be like, okay. Because a lot of it's visual, and you're like, okay, that means because it's just people surveilling people, and you're like, okay, he's putting those things in the newspaper, so that's dicey.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's clearly something wrong. But that's what's so great about repeat viewings, because even when you pay attention and you get the basic structure of like the story and everything, and you get the payoff, you can still go back and watch and be like, oh, they're doing like hardcore police work here,
Absolutely,
and not explaining it, so you just kind of learn as you go on repeat viewings. It's great.
It's great, and so they you figure out comfortably subtle visual. Yes, absolutely, it is. But it's enough to keep you. I mean, they give you enough to keep you going, but in a way that keeps you engaged in order to figure it out, right? Which is great. I mean, it's always better to just kind of, show don't tell, or just kind of just play it the way it would go. Yeah. Play it the way it would go, and the audience will figure it out.
Never have a scene. It's just boring when you have an inserted scene where it's like, okay, remember we're at this point in the story, and we're fighting this, and then we got to go fight this here in a little bit, and then you're feeling this way, and I'm feeling this way.
Yeah, and there are times where it does feel like it's like, oh well, we just need a character to come in and explain things, and I get it. Like there are movies like, I'm not thinking of a specific scene or something, but there are movies like Arrival or Annihilate where like you need to explain the world, you need to whatever. And a lot of movies will just do that, and it's like our movie brains go, well, I get it. You need to tell me stuff, fine, and that's okay. And it doesn't ruin a movie, but it is refreshing when a filmmaker finds a way to do it when a filmmaker has the confidence to just go. And again, I'm not knocking Arrival. Or I'm just saying there are movies like that.
Sometimes you genuinely do need it.
You have to.
You have to.
Because you can't go like, you get this thing about the aliens in Arrival. You're like, no, I don't. I haven't seen Arrival.
I don't know what a heptapod is.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, but there are movies about that are about invented worlds that kind of do it without a lot of. So that's
Star Wars kind of does that.
Yeah, kind of.
It really does.
And it's so great when a movie acts like you get it, or it's like it would, because the actual, honestly, the effect is is the feeling of a world that exists whether or not you're watching it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's what's amazing. And when a director has the confidence to go, no, you'll get it. You'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Because that's always
if they construct the film, if they construct the film well, it works. You know?
Yeah.
No, yeah, Chewbacca. I'm not saying you didn't feel what. I'm not saying that that's one that uses a lot of. I was just picking a movie that would, on paper.
But I mean, Arrival's a wonderful movie. But I think there are you just by the nature of okay, we're using language here to bridge the gaps. So we're going to use you kind of have to have characters at least talking about what they're about to do because that's what they're doing. They're trying to figure it out within the film as well.
Honestly, yeah, I don't. I mean, there is exposition in Arrival. We watched Annihilation recently, and that one has some she walks in and then they're like, hey. You're new, huh? Let's talk to you about this stuff. And it's just kind of okay. But I mean, we need to, whatever.
Quick side note. What'd you think of Annihilation?
I failed to connect with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Same. I had just been on a Tarkovsky bent when I went and saw that. So I felt like I was I understand what you're going for here.
Yeah.
But it still didn't connect with me.
It wasn't a total, we didn't miss each other completely.
I enjoyed watching
but
it.
I was kind of okay, yeah. I'm just whatever. We didn't connect. Arrival, I thought was very solid. It's a solid film.
Have you seen it twice, though?
No, but
Oh, buddy.
The thing is, okay, maybe.
Because here's the thing. I was good. Then I went and saw it a second time just by chance because someone else wanted to go see it. And I was okay, I'll go. Second time around, crushed my soul in the best way possible.
So, but the thing is, I feel like I saw it twice because there's a thing that they reveal at the end. And by the time they did, I'd figured it out. And so I had kind of been watching it with that and remembering things and I feel like I kind of got that experience, but I could watch it again.
Because I almost had a Interstellar flipperoo thing with that movie, and I think it's it's just so wonderful.
Okay.
But anyways.
Okay. The bear scene. I mean, that crocodile. I was that's about the best CG animal I've ever seen, or a couple of those things. Yeah. There's Stalker of the sci-fi stuff. Stalker constantly talks about, but never shows actually happens.
Yeah, it pulls a lot from Stalker.
I need to watch Stalker. I need to watch it. Whatever. I really wanted to like it a lot, and I did not end up liking it a lot. I didn't end up connecting with it.
If you watch Arrival, then The Departed in sequence, both coming.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah, and then
time jokes.
Yeah, and then the sitcom The Middle, and then you'd be fine. Or whatever. I can't.
Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle.
There's a sitcom called The Middle, but the middle isn't the middle of Arrival and Departure.
Middle,
I don't know what I'm talking about. No one does. I don't either.
Middle, you say sitcom, you're thinking about Frankie Muniz, and that's it.
Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. Can you repeat the question? You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now.
That was a great show. We are getting off topic, though, so let's bring it back.
Let's see how, Gene Hackman, how do you feel about it? Yeah, fair. Popeye's here. So early on, they establish, that these guys are gonna rough up criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And early on, the criminals that they rough up are mostly African American. They're all African American.
Yeah.
They chase him down, and then Scheider gets knifed, and later he's like, Panos Cosmatos. Sounds like someone who's holding an infinity stone. Yeah. Sounds Greek. But yeah, that's true. Thanos. Yeah, sure. Thanos is his middle name, I'm sure. And there's the thing where he's afterward he's like you stupid guinea.
Yeah.
And he's like well, I'm supposed to know, how am I supposed to know he had a knife? And he said, you never trust a N-word. And this is a thing that, like, I think it's something that I think of when I think of the French Connection, right? And I kind of like I was going into it and I was gonna all right, I'm really gonna think about that this time and think about what I don't know what's the and then I kind of was like, is it whatever, because my wife told me something that her brother told her. That there's an anecdote or something that when they were a little like, if they're like, we don't know about
about implementing that,
being that kind of bold-faced about that character's racism. And apparently there's a story that when they screened it, people cheered.
Yeah.
And I was like, they cheered because they're racist. You're like, no, like the black people cheered because they're like, we knew it.
Yeah.
We knew people talk like that.
They cheered and they were laughing because they're like, finally.
Yeah, someone admitted it.
That's how cops are.
Yeah. And so that's interesting. I mean, that
I thought that was very interesting.
It's interesting that, like, because you can watch this movie and not, because it's very matter of fact about it. It doesn't really condemn it necessarily, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, he says that, but Scheider kind of goes like, come on, or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, you just kind of go like, well, they're not being very careful about being like, and obviously this is wrong.
Right. They're not indulging in it, but I think this movie does a great job of like really playing that anti-hero card of, no, this is not just a world we're living in terms of this movie. It's just like, it's this thing that the new Hollywood movement did, where it's like, we're going to bring a mirror up to society, and this is how it really is
and
in
play
the
it
world.
how it would go, right?
And guess what? This is based on a real story. And guess what? This cop, he actually is a racist bigot. And so Friedkin was like, no, that's going to go in the movie because that's truth. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And the fact that they say it, and then they immediately cut to the next scene as if it's not
a big deal, right?
A big deal whatsoever, actually says everything you need to know about the intent of it. I feel like, because it's almost crazy more disarming because they don't address it whatsoever.
Sure.
And that's
I buy that.
That kind of makes it brilliant, because you're just like, well, why am I so struck by that? Why is it so much more effective by the fact that they're not addressing it?
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Because that is, I mean,
it's two white guys saying it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's like, I mean, look, I've been in, I'm in Texas, and growing up, I've been around, there have been situations where someone said that, and I just, you kind of go like, whatever, and like, and you just, okay, like, you just whatever, and to my discredit, probably, I didn't go, hey, man, that's racist of you.
Right.
You need to not do that.
Right.
And Scheider doesn't. Scheider's just like, he just is like, come on, or whatever. But he doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't. I mean, he's just like, that's it. Like.
But that's also like he's probably
exactly. So yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things where it feels all too real, because it is just an accepted fact of life that you're like, guess what? There's going to be super racist people out there. And then you're going to also still work with them. And you're still going to coexist with them in life. And it's just... And you're still going to... Not everything comes down to like having a crazy, confrontation about stuff like that.
Right.
That's what makes that scene so disarming. Yeah, it's interesting how they do that. I mean, because if you really break his character down on paper, like... He's I guess we could say overt, but like, he doesn't hide his racism. He's clearly a womanizer. And if you like, I don't know if you watch any of the deleted scenes, which just further ramp up he'll use his prowess as a cop to pull over women who he thinks are attractive. Right. And then flirt with them to the point where then he'll, bed them through his charm, his rascally scoundrel charm, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
He's clearly an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And I mean, so he's just like,
he's a mess.
And he's an obsessive compulsive in terms of like, he thinks he's always right.
Yeah.
And the movie doesn't disprove that because, well, it kind of does in a weird way. But like, but then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, he ends up killing another cop in pursuit of the villain.
I mean, a federal,
and then an FBI guy. Yeah. He ends up killing this dude, and when Roy Scheider's like, "You just shot so and so," he doesn't even blink. He's just like, "The son of a bitch is here." Yeah. As he's reloading his gun, he's like, "The son of a bitch is here. Yeah. I'm gonna get him." Yeah. And it's the best line for me in the movie. Yeah. Because the look and the conviction on his face, he's just like,
he didn't skip a beat. Yeah.
He's so tunnel vision on getting his man that he can't even acknowledge the fact that he just killed an FBI agent.
Yeah. I mean, and it isn't that he doesn't. I mean, it isn't that like after this whole thing. To me, it isn't that after the whole thing blows over, he's not going to like deal with that.
Oh no!
It's just like
right now.
He just goes right, but there and hold on.
We're so close.
And we stop and deal with this, then it's not whatever. Yeah. I just got to keep going. And there is something that's interesting because he's not. Because he's what they call a complex protagonist, right? It's like because he is racist, he has all these issues and stuff.
He still wanted to get the man,
but you're just kind of like, he's single-minded and he is doing what he thinks is right, and he's doing and he's just doing it as hard as he can.
Yeah.
In the same direction the whole time. I mean that's the whole character thrust behind the chase that makes it great. I mean, he just doesn't give up.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. During the whole chase scene, he almost runs over a woman carrying with a what do you call it, a stroller?
Yeah, exactly.
With a real baby in it, like I mean, that was actually an actor and stuff. But like, I mean, he's putting and the fact that he's being so intrusive with the people he's investigating and stuff. Like when he gets he's trailing Frog One, the guy with the goatee, and then he gets made down on the subway, and he waves at him, and there's that famous scene.
Yeah.
The next scene that sparks the whole chase scene is there's an assassin.
Yeah, sniper, yeah.
And a sniper, and as Gene Hackman's walking to his apartment, the guy tries to shoot him. He ends up killing a woman holding a baby.
So awful. I mean, she's pushing the stroller too, and then the baby's crying.
Yeah.
And then he just gets down and rolls out of the way. Other people are checking on the woman. And he's like, "Go, get away, get away!" Because he's just like, "No, get away! You're gonna get shot too, whatever." And it's not. I mean, and it just shows you that he's like. I mean, it's like it's action reaction. He's like, "Well, got to stop him." And it's what I mean. They say at one point, right, that they have the highest arrest rates in the precinct. Like they've got they're successful, right? I mean, he says that what they're bringing in isn't great, but like, I mean, they're not big collars, but they're arresting more people than anyone else.
Yeah.
And you get it because you're like, Doyle's just not going to give up on a thing. He's just not going to, and it kills him to do so. It kills him to lose.
It's that thing where it's just like the only thing that works in this dude's life is him doing his job. That's the only time when he excels in any way, shape, or form, or probably in his own brain that his life makes sense, is when he's literally chasing his next guy.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of fascinating to me, and even kind of relatable, I feel like, for people when watching, is like, when I'm doing that one thing that I'm really good at, that's when everything else kind of makes sense, or at least like melts away, because that's when I'm really good and I'm at my best.
Yeah.
But like for him, it's just like, I'm like, if he wasn't a cop, I could just see him flipping that obsession to something not good, like being a villain or being a guy who sells drugs. And as long as he could just use that mentality of like obsessing over getting something, accomplishing something, I almost feel like does he have a moral compass? Because in every other aspect of his life, there's not one.
I don't know.
Is it moral conviction that he wants to get these guys, or is it pride?
Yeah, definitely. Well, sure.
And I think that's another.
I mean, the thing is, like, I don't even think he analyzes it to that point. I think he's just like,
nor do I.
Something's driving me.
Yeah.
And you don't even think about it.
But I think that's what's so fascinating about him. Yeah.
It's that his pride. Yeah, and you're right. It is. That's an interesting thing. Complete tunnel vision, indeed. You have to kind of. It is interesting to think about. Like, is it just convenience that his pride and the thing that he happened to stumble upon that he's good at happens to be something that is helpful,
right?
Like, is he just driven by ego and fear of failure or whatever? I mean, like, what is his his origin story?
I mean, very interesting. Exactly. What is his origin story? Because I really do think that's certainly what makes him such a interesting character to revisit over multiple viewings. Because I'm like, there's so much going on there to like unpack. Because he's such a mess. He's a mess.
Yeah, and there is something historically, cinematically fascinating about. I mean, we could, if we started listing examples, they would number the stars. I mean, like, about films about a person who is fantastic at one thing and on fire when they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of their life is just in the garbage or just falling apart, and they're terrible to the people in their lives. I mean, you think about like almost any biopic about a musician you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, Aviator with
absolutely. I mean, like anything, like the Ray movie, the Johnny Cash. I mean, and these are obviously true stories. So I mean, like there is something I think that we find fascinating and it just invigorating about someone who is just failing at everything in life, but when they all the things that people generally think are important, but then when they get on stage or when they get that thing or when they're chasing it or when they're whatever, it's just like there's something beautiful about that.
Oh, it's beautiful. And there's also the argument to be made. It's like, in order to be truly great at something, anything, filmmaking, musician, being a musician, being a cop, being a fucking drug dealer, whatever.
You're right.
Do you have to...
I'm the best drug dealer.
Yeah. Do you have to sacrifice a lot of other aspects of your life in order to achieve that level of greatness? And then the other thing to discuss is that worth it?
Sure.
Sure. And I always view Apocalypse Now as an interesting thing to talk about because I don't really feel like... I felt like that movie... For me, that's a cinematic high point in all of cinema. It's like my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
And I also think that Coppola never achieved anything remotely close to that ever again. And it's like that movie almost like shattered him, like psychologically, because it was such a torturous shoot and stuff. And I always discuss this with other filmmakers. I'm like, if you can just make one good movie, is it worth it? Just if you push yourself that far, knowing that you're never going to come back, and be able to do it again, is it worth it?
Well, so yeah,
and I think it is.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, would you rather make one truly? It would be Sir Chewbacca. We're doing it. We're gonna do it. Now
we're gonna do it. Yeah.
Is it 1980? Is that what Apocalypse Now is?
79.
Is it 79? Okay. Man, so that an Alien came out the same year.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy. We got an idea about this week coming up. And we'll talk about it later, but it has something to do with what next month is. But yeah, I think it's an interesting question to kind of we're off, but it's fine. Would you rather make one great film, or have a career of
pretty good movies?
Like it's good.
Not even bad movies.
Yeah,
pretty good movies.
And it's like I'm like I want the great one.
I think you want the great one.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's just, and there's something.
But sometimes
something romantic about it. But there's also
something. But like, it could be incredibly hard because, like, what if you make that one at the beginning of your career, and then you just have a lifetime of so stuff afterward. And especially like if in the context of this hypothesis of like, you only get one.
Yeah.
And you're going to put all your energy into making this thing, and people will talk about it for the rest of time, but that's it. and after that your life is done. You're like, you're gonna continue to do films, but you're never gonna be able to achieve that type of greatness ever again.
And I think goodness, like I don't know. I think it is to some extent inhuman. Or I'd be interested in, I don't know. Does anyone have a differing opinion from that? I mean, I think it's there's something about the story of that. It's like, even, like it's almost legendary in and of itself to be someone who made one great work and then there's something, I think.
Well, it's such a, I feel like as I get older, because like I used to be like, what happened to Coppola? And now I'm like, he made back to back to back to back 4 of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's the greatest run as a director that anyone has ever seen. I'm like, what happened to Coppola is he made 4 of the greatest movies of all time, and that's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
And anyone's lucky to make one thing that registers on such a level.
Absolutely. Life is too short. You have the chance to make something great to be worth it. Yeah. No matter how great you are, you can always make mistakes. Case in point, movie 43. You're talking about Farrelly's? Not Farrelly's. Zucker's? What is 43? Is movie 43 Zucker's or Farrelly's? Like it's Zucker's, right? In real life, you don't know if you're making your one great film. Sure. Yeah, I agree. You don't know till later. And the thing is, like, I mean, like, remember we watched last Picture Show, and to me, honestly, kind of the poster child for that is Peter Bogdanovich, because like he made the Last Picture Show, which is, I mean, it's on there. I mean, it has every right to be on every list of if you list out certainly 50, but like 25, 30 great films. I mean, it's up there.
It's always in the top 10 of like, I mean, it's always up there. It's always up there.
It is one of the greats. It is one of the great films. I mean, it certainly fits that bill. And then he made Paper Moon. He did Noises Off. He's done other movies that were kind of like, oh, interesting, and but nothing that ever came. And like I was watching an interview with him, and he was kind of talking about this, where he's like, it's like, I think he was recounting I'm not sure this is entirely. I'm not sure if I got this right. I think he was recounting a conversation with Orson Welles, and he was like, yeah, he's just talking to Orson Welles, and he was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever gonna make another great one or whatever. And he's like, is it, it sucks to only make one great one or something. And Orson Welles or whoever he was talking to was like, it's, some people don't get one, or he was like, it's just, and it's like, that's true. I mean, that's absolutely true. Like,
I mean, Orson Welles is probably the most prime example of someone who is at least
known. I see Scorp. I see.
For one.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him for making Citizen Kane. I think he made many great movies, many important movies, and almost all of them except for Citizen Kane were hampered by interference from financiers or studio trouble or whatever. Like, he had a lot, like Touch of Evil is a freaking brilliant movie, and it took another 25 years or something for them to re-edit that thing to what he originally saw as his, and he had given like extensive notes because they took it away from him.
Yeah,
and they did that a lot. Magnificent Ambersons.
Right.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Even the cut that's out there, it's really good.
Yeah.
And like, but they took that away from him. But the cut that because he would always give detailed notes after they took it away. He was like, look, if you're not going to let me in the edit room, at least follow these incredibly extensive notes.
It's so weird that.
And like reading those notes of what could have been for that movie, it would have been probably even more influential than Citizen Kane.
Yeah. And Citizen Kane, I think, in a lot of ways, I don't know. I feel like if you go back and watch it blind, like if you just kind of like, all right, what is this? This is the greatest film of all time, and just pop it in. It's it's hard to, but I mean, in terms of its impact on cinematic language and like the way.
It does stuff that's even to this day. I'm like, it took me many tries before I finally got it,
right?
Because you got to understand the context of when you're watching, when it was made and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, there's stuff in there that is so impressive. Like, they would move the camera through a table.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, how'd they do that? And they're like, oh, we sawed that table in half.
Right.
And then as we moved the camera, we pulled the table apart once they were off camera just in time for the dolly to move through.
Right. I mean,
and you're just like, oh,
yeah.
So you just did crazy stuff that really is truly original and inventive.
Yeah, no, and it essentially, taught people how to watch movies again, sort of. I mean, it's
Friedkin's Friedkin.
Yeah.
French Connection.
Yeah.
Exorcist.
Yeah.
Sorcerer.
Yeah.
3 of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe Sorcerer belongs in that camp as well.
Sorcerer's great.
And then he went off the radar, and that had more to do with the fact of how unmanageable his ego had become and how difficult he had become as a person. But he never ever, like, after that he kind of went, I mean, he still made movies, but nothing close to those 3.
There's Blue Chips.
And there's Blue Chips. Sorry, I still haven't seen it.
No, I'm just joking. No. I love Blue Chips.
But like, I cruising and like, I've seen part of Killer Joe. I never finished it, but I really liked what I saw.
I've got Bug. I need to watch Bug.
Bug's great.
Yeah,
Bug's great.
Michael Shannon, baby.
God, that's Friedkin.
I know, yeah.
Bug, yeah.
It's a shame movies nowadays don't do stuff like that. Now they just CGI it. Yeah, like so. There's. I mean, there really truly is something to be said. Like, I mean, there are those shots in I know that, but in like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, there are those clearly CG camera shots where it just kind of like comes across, and there's something about a CG camera, like a virtual camera moving that you go, I know it doesn't have weight, it doesn't feel real, because somewhere subconsciously a camera can't do what you just saw it do, and it just goes, it takes me out of it, at least.
That's good to hear, because I always get so bummed out when I see a camera move too close to like a physical object or through like if a camera moved right through this, and I'm like, oh, so that's fake.
Yeah.
It's just usually it's for no purpose whatsoever. Yeah. Even when Fincher does it, and he probably utilized it better than anybody. Yeah. And he kind of backed off now that he's maturing as a filmmaker. But
he's drawing. The thing is that like in like Panic Room or something.
Yeah, he's trying to show the space.
He's drawing attention to it, and he's going like, this is a thing, but they get you ready for it by like, it's down. It's like, it's on the floor. It's speeding through. You're going like, I am the camera. Yeah. I get it. And it doesn't.
And he's showing the geography of the space, so from there on out, you understand all the layers of that house and stuff. Yeah, he's always doing it for purpose.
Yeah, that's it. That is funny. I have heard that, Derek, and I think it's interesting that they did forced perspective stuff for the Hobbit stuff when they did so much CG in the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right. I mean, in Lord of the Rings, I mean, like, really dude, cool. Whatever. People love it, and I'm glad that people love it.
My girlfriend, Kelsey, saw Elijah Wood on one of those scooters that everybody uses now.
I know. I've been seeing that.
He was like, yeah, I saw him walking or just driving it off Congress, and he looked so happy. B, he hasn't aged a day since Lord of the Rings.
Since like 1994, let's be honest. Since The Good Son.
The Good Son. Right? I was going to say
The Good Son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, The Good Son. And C, she was like, I don't think they had to do any trickery with him in Lord of the Rings, because that man is barely as big as those little motor scooters.
My suspension of disbelief is so bad I can't take Marvel's movies seriously in terms of action scenes. It just takes I've had this scene. I've had the thing where like I had sort of like fatigue, like comic book fight fatigue. I remember I went to see Winter Soldier, and like the first fight in that movie, it goes and the first punch lands, and my brain just went, I'm not going to pay attention for a while, because I was like, I just had seen so many. I was like, there's not, just wake me up in 15 minutes when they're both fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
Later NCR fan.
Yeah. Oh, take it easy, MM. Lots of love, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The quality between Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogy. I mean, yeah, I still can't believe there were 3 Hobbit movies. Because I just was like, I feel like there was one. And
when I finally understood the how those were made, I felt really bad for Peter Jackson, because Guillermo del Toro was supposed to make 2, and then he backed out, and like it was a go movie. Like he backed out pretty late, and like it was this thing where it's like, well, who's gonna step in that I trust? So Peter Jackson's like, I'll take it over. I don't necessarily want to.
Yeah.
Because I've done it.
Yeah.
But he then invested another 5 years of his life or something, because he was like, he felt an obligation as like the kind of the, at least the maestro for the cinematic world of it.
Sure.
And now they're remaking it for
like
Amazon, and I'm just like, okay.
Well, who's doing it?
I don't know. They're doing like it's the most expensive miniseries of all time.
Sure it is.
And I'm like, but it's been done, and they frankly did it recently, and they did it really well, and one of them won Best Picture. Like, what are you hoping to do here?
I don't know. Fight scene starts sounding for so like, and I'm not saying please don't. I wasn't saying I'm not saying that the fight scene was even poorly directed or bad or anything. I just kind of was like, I'm just like this. There are no stakes. And I've just seen people punch each other in these movies so many times that I just...
it's all amazing, so therefore none of it registers. Yeah. I mean, it's...
The raid I didn't see, but I've heard that is...
It's good.
It's intense.
It's cool.
We're replica of the ring to high... Oh, okay, I got you. So you're that much of a Lord of the Rings fan, and you did not like The Hobbit. I got you. I haven't seen a Lord of the Rings movie since the second one. Since... whatever that one's called.
You never saw Return of the King?
I did not.
Oh, it's like the best one.
That's what people... I hear you.
Cool.
You
didn't like him at all? I loved him.
That's great. I'm so glad.
I really did.
I'm so glad that people love him.
I loved it. I loved the journey. I loved every December for 3 years in a row. I was like, wow, this is going to be great to see where they go with this.
That's cool. All that will happen in those scenes, they'll destroy some cars and bleed a bit. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Return Dad King. It is the best one. I mean, like, but it's not that different from the first two, right? I mean, the thing is, like,
I mean, in terms of like what? So you're just not into?
I'm just not.
We're gonna walk, and then we're gonna have a whole thing, and we're gonna walk.
Here's the thing, and it's not, and this is maybe like it was just like, it's Elijah Wood going, like, I'm concerned, and then
Sam.
And like whatever, but I never read them as a kid. And then I was listening to like the book on tape while we were painting the house, and I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is charming.
It's good.
This is great." I mean, like
I only read the first one,
and I love The Hobbit. I read The Hobbit. And The Hobbit's a great book. Like
Hobbit's a great book.
Yeah, it's just charming. It just didn't. Those movies don't feel like it to me. They don't feel charming. They don't feel.
Really?
Yeah, I know. And part of it is that it's just the thing where it's like we're. Whatever, and then it goes into CG sweep of the mountains, CG
There's
battle, and and then like
it also kind of introduced that
they did, and I was like, this looks so
Derek,
like a video game.
That's the one. You bow to no one. Just fires out of my eyeballs.
Marathon the extended cuts and make it an entire day. See, I just don't. That doesn't sound. I just, for whatever reason, I don't connect with them. I am so glad that people love them so much, because it makes me happy when people love things. I'm glad.
Ryan, what do you like?
Lots of things. I love lots of things. I love The Rocketeer. I love Ninja Turtle. I love Hook. I love lots of things.
Okay,
lots of
let
things.
me ask you this. What is another trilogy that you like that maybe other people don't like?
Oh, well, I mean, but everyone likes Back to the Future. That does it have to be something that no one else likes?
No, I guess not. That might be a terrible.
Here are the 3 to 4. No, these are the things in my line of sight that I love. I love the movies we've been watching. Edo Canyon is still a better love story than Twilight, to whatever angle they forced in The Hobbit. Terminator 2 is freaking fantastic.
Do you ever think they're gonna make another great Terminator movie?
I don't know.
Because now they're making another one with Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I'm like.
And the Terminator is from Austin. Gabriel Luna.
Oh yeah.
I was in a movie with him.
That's great. Good for him.
No, it's fantastic.
But who's directing that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't even know. But this dude, like this, I usually, like you're on Facebook with actors and they're like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, or like, so glad to be whatever, and it doesn't really bother me that much. Occasionally I just go like, shut up, just show me your work.
Yeah.
Show me your work.
Right.
Gabriel Luna's been posting stuff, and it's like him working out with Schwarzenegger, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, that's
and it's like
cool.
him sitting. Like, one of the things that like he'd been posting stuff like him meeting Schwarzenegger, him doing all this stuff, him whatever, and I was like, this is awesome. And then he posted a picture of himself just sitting in the gray mocap suit, and I was like, oh man! For some reason, that like made me go, oh, wow. I'm so jealous, but I love it. It's really.
Do you think he's gonna be like a T-800 or like a T-1000?
Gosh, it's a really good question. I didn't even think about that.
Or like a new. Is he gonna be whatever the villain version of the Terminator is gonna be? He's a bad Terminator.
I don't know. I don't even know. I mean,
interesting.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't really know what he looks like, so I don't know.
Cameron's got to be
felt he is.
Cameron's got to be producing it.
Yeah, but Cameron
there's no way. Is he directing it? Let George Miller do the new Terminator.
Cameron's doing 9 more Avatar movies.
Wait, literally?
He's doing 5 more.
There you go.
He's legit doing 5 more.
Thank you. Thank you. Sir Blitz, thank you for the 19 months. Oh, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing that stuff. Lots of love. Lots of love.
You got the library job. Congratulations.
You really? Dude, that's awesome. Wait, what are you doing? Are you a librarian? Because that makes good money, and that is a great job. That's great. Dude! Sir Blitz, thank you so much! Like, that's a CGI movie that, like, I once saw Avatar, and I was like, yeah.
Hey,
this is good. This is an event I
did.
say
that I got the library
Thank you
job
so much,
that
Sir
I think
Blitz.
I might have.
I wish they weren't blue cat people, but
a while ago in here and start tomorrow. Less than
you
3.
start tomorrow.
That's fantastic.
What is the job? Tell us more about the job, guys. Hearts in chat, please, for Sir Blitz, Mr. Blitz. Mr. Blitz?
Mr. Blitz.
Mr. Blitz is my father. I was knighted and am Sir Blitz. It is actually quite an insult for you to call me Mr. Blitz. Sir Blitz, tell me about it. Sounds like it's gonna be one for the books. Well done. Well done, Scorp. Would you like a library job? If I had one to give out, I'd give it to you. Well, I'd give it to me, and then I'd give it to you.
Oh my god! Wow. Sorry, I was phased out. No, that's the pun work there is phenomenal.
The pun work is.
I feel really dumb for not laughing harder at that. That's fantastic.
You're working in the children's section. Oh, that's right.
Cool,
helping run
man.
events, dude. That's awesome. Congratulations,
that's
my friend. Congratulations, dude. And that over the garden wall thing that you mentioned, I have heard it mentioned. There was at least one other person who was like, "You have to see that. It's amazing." I was like, "Oh, okay." So one day maybe. Other trilogies that I like? No. I mean,
well, can we just say,
get back to?
Can we all agree that like no one wants James Cameron to be spending the probably the remainder of his career working on 5 more Avatar movies?
Fun to see how Jeff and Lobro movie takes. So before I read the rest of that comment, that is something that I've been planning for a long time because there are 3 of us, you and Ben and I. We've talked about this. Could you rank from best to worst trilogies? X-Men, Godfather, Back to the Future, The Matrix, OG Star Wars. So very something similar. Something very similar. When I get the time, I'm going to sit down and devise, and you guys will be able to play along, because that's the nature of what I'm about to say. Creating all the graphics. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I wouldn't know to remake it with you. I'm going to come up with a film quiz, a film taste quiz that will determine your compatibility, your movie taste compatibility with someone else. And there will be very pointed questions like Alien or Aliens, right?
Yeah.
Pick one of those.
Yeah. That's it.
Others. favorite Wes Anderson film. They're very specific, very specific questions because we have a friend and he's been on the stream, but it's been a little while. Director Ben Moody, and our tastes, mine and his, are very, very, they align very much until like 2001 or something.
Yeah, right.
And then they go, and I feel like we're
pretty close.
I feel like we're reasonably close, but there are things that like just that there are
Sure.
divergences, but like that's you know.
And I think a lot of it has to do with what you grew up with,
right,
or what I grew up with.
Yeah.
That's usually when I feel like we differ the most because I'm like, you know, I like the Lord of the Rings because I there was a period in my high school life where it was 3 years in a row, and I was like, and I have very fond memories of going to the theaters and all that. And so I like revisiting them for the world and also the nostalgia. I mean, it's a nostalgia thing.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And I think also like, I think it has to hit. I think it's a combination of not always, because there are people who didn't grow up with Lord of the Rings and love the movies, but it's a combination sometimes of growing up with the books and then being a certain age.
Yeah.
I grew up with the Narnia books. My mom read the Chronicles of Narnia to me, and I went to see the first Chronicles of Narnia film, and I was watching it and going like, I know this isn't a great film, but I'm into it.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's not a great film. I'm not trying to trash it, but I'm like, I know it's not gonna go down as like whatever, but I was like, I'm totally into it.
Yeah. Because
it is the like best version of a Narnia book that I've gotten.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there were those like BBC TV things that were okay. I didn't see them all. I haven't rewatched Over the Garden Wall. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be great. And I like them because Blitz. I was saying that you recommended Over the Garden Wall to me, and then it has since been very, very strongly recommended to me by someone I can't remember, but whose taste I was like, okay, interesting. Viggo Mortensen is a hottie. That's true. I mean, that's just
Viggo Mortensen.
That's objective. Fact.
Yeah, he's great in them.
I really like him in a remake of Dial M for Murder called A Perfect Murder. I like that movie.
Yeah, dude, that movie's great. Andrew Davis, man, like that's
I don't know.
Fugitive. And then that's the other one where I'm like, oh, so he did make two that were like that I'm way into.
Like I really like A Perfect Murder. And I've never heard anyone talk about it.
As a 90s mystery, murder mystery thriller.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get better. It's
great.
Slick and stylish.
Fantastic.
And it's
Viggo Mortensen's great. And
yeah.
Michael, I mean, it's great. And great.
Perfect Murder, dude.
Perfect Murder. Rock and roll.
I was watching Black Rain last night.
I've never seen Black Rain.
Neither had I. Only got about 20 minutes in, then I fell asleep.
Really?
But I love that.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super.
With
And,
Michael
and
Douglas.
it's Ridley Scott in all his like early 90s glory.
You got to do
a lot of like red sunsets against skylines. Like it's a very specific period in his life.
I'm so man.
It's cinematographed by Jan de Bont. Like
nice.
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah. So it looks great. But boy, there's like a period where it's like when Michael Douglas starts to get gray hair, but before it's like he's just got peppery hair. There's like probably 4 or 5 films, and I think the end of them is A Perfect Murder.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's a great series. I'm like, oh, he's a rascally.
He's well cast.
It's great. Yeah.
I was golfing. Actually, shot par in a hole. That's awesome. That's really great. I don't think I can successfully tee off.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I think I've done it once or twice. I've gone golfing 2 or 3 times in my life because I was like, I'm awful at this. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Ridley Scott. Dude, I'm excited for when we start to do like directors, just like directors.
Yeah.
And Ridley Scott, unfortunately, has so many to watch. But there's so many early ones that I really haven't seen.
I'm gonna go home and finish Black Rain because I was into it. It's like I feel like it's gonna be stupid 90s cop thriller, but
is it 90s? That was 80s,
or maybe late 80s. Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably that. Yeah.
I just remember it's Michael Douglas on the motorcycle.
Andy Garcia. Yeah.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, it's Michael. Like the opening 5 minutes is like just him on a bike with aviators, leather jacket, smoking a cigarette while like going 65, but he's still got a cigarette.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great.
That's great.
It's great.
Stanley, you won. Thank you for the follow. Plan 9 from Outer Space. That was not Ridley Scott, but rock and roll, man.
What a fun movie. When I say, if I said stupid 90s, no one is. I grew up in the 90s. No one's a bigger fan of 90s movies.
Yeah. It's like that's like we can say that. We can say that about we can say that.
Yeah. Because I love me some 90s
love
movies.
I'll
just be like, what year do I want to go to? Oh, 95? All right, maybe I'll pop in GoldenEye. Maybe I'll pop in Heat.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pop in, is that Men in Tights?
I feel like 96, maybe.
Maybe 96, yeah.
I don't know. 95 is 7.
7?
See, I can't.
95, yeah, that's 7 define 95, really. Yeah.
7, I think, really, well, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I feel like 7 changed movies.
It did.
Subtly. Not subtly. I mean, like
Change the color palette.
In the way that we millennials would say, it low key changed. We're millennials.
Are we?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've talked about this. I'm declaring myself a millennial. We're millennials.
Cool.
Say it enough until we millennials. I just like getting people going. You're a millennial?
Okay. All right.
Don't worry. That's fine. It low key changed movies. I want to do Ridley Scott, and then I want to jump into Fincher. Like I want to watch. This is not going to happen, but I want to watch all Ridley Scott's movies back to back,
okay,
and then all Fincher's movies back to back. But what we should really do is like pick a Fincher, pick a Scott.
Yeah.
And then just watch some trailers just and be enough and be like, same thing.
Yeah.
Not it's good stuff. No. What if millennials are as old as you guys? What does that make us? We're all millennials, guys.
Yeah.
We're all the same.
Can I ask you if how many great movies do you think Fincher has made?
Hold on, because I'm probably forgetting. No, 2.
7 and Zodiac? 7 and Fight Club?
Zodiac, I forgot Zodiac.
I think he's made 3.
Are you including Zodiac?
Yes. 7, Zodiac, and
Fight Club. I went back and watched Zodiac again and love it now.
Yeah. I think
it's great in that sense. It's like Sorcerer. It's like The Conversation. It's the one that it could be divisive, but not for any good reason.
I mean, I think it's his most accomplished film without question is Zodiac, but I also think it's probably not the one I would revisit the most.
I rewatched Panic Room and I really like Panic Room. I did not. I was always like, okay. I'd watched it once. Panic Room is super solid and really great. Hitchcock.
Movie.
Yeah. Totally.
It's a wonderful movie.
Totally.
Yeah. He has no bad movies. I'm just saying.
Well, okay.
Well.
None that are.
I can't
none
count,
that are bad.
I don't count Alien 3, and I also don't hate Alien 3.
I like Alien 3.
Are you talking about even Curious Case of Benjamin
Button
is not bad.
It's not bad. It's just kind of
he's too talented to make a bad movie.
I agree.
But I just was curious to know how many, because he gets mentioned so often, myself included.
Don't say that. Is that true, Derek?
Yes, he is. I know.
Well,
I feel like all my favorite directors are being sucked off into these franchises.
You probably are.
Like Cary Fukunaga is now directing the new James Bond movie, and I'm like,
that's really
cool.
Weird.
That's really exciting, I guess. But also, he's too talented to be doing shit like that. He can because he's gonna have to. There's a formula to a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
And people want it and expect it, and it's what makes it work, and it's what makes it a James Bond movie. You can invert it as much as they did in Skyfall, and people fucking hated Skyfall. I loved it. But it's just like, you're not giving someone with, when you give Fincher World War Z 2, I'm like, you're limiting his abilities. And as much as, and this is why I asked you how many great movies you think he's made, because I think he's probably one of the greatest directors to have ever lived, and I think he selects subpar scripts more often than not. Because I have never seen a better mediocre movie than when I saw A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
I thought you were gonna say
and I was just like, my God, he directed the hell out of that movie.
I really enjoyed it.
Of course you did, because he directed the hell out of it.
I really liked it.
I've watched it. I own it, and I've watched it like 5 times.
I own it too. I have not rewatched it.
But I also can fully admit that the material is beneath him.
Yeah. Sure.
He's just that good at making.
Sure. It's the kind of thing where like you're watching it and you're going like, all right, but and Fincher did it, so like I'm giving it extra. I'm like, there's more here, and then it ends and there isn't, and you go, but there was.
And sometimes I get frustrated because I feel like he knows it. He's like, yeah, I know, I'm making a fucking stupid Icelandic thriller over here, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Or it's like, I'm making Panic Room. I know Panic Room's a B movie, but whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you should be applying yourself more.
I know. Well, I don't, like, he doesn't write, right?
He doesn't write.
So, like, yeah. The first Alien was a truly great, innovative, influential. The unpopular opinion that only the first Alien. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. Aliens is incredibly influential. It's incredibly influential.
Yeah.
Aliens, but
think of any movie with military in it.
Yeah.
Post Aliens, and you're gonna find characters from Aliens in
yeah.
those movies.
Well, and it's also true that it's like it influenced a bunch of movies. I don't know that I necessarily love any of those movies.
No, but that's usually how that goes.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
And definitely, if you make me pick one, I'm picking Alien.
Hands down.
Like I won't think about it. That's what, because so I don't know what Ben would answer to that.
I think Ben would say Aliens.
I think so too.
And
I'm not saying like,
and he's not. I would not fault him for saying
Right.
that. It's truly just a different. I just think Alien is an actual perfect film.
And I think, I
think Terminator 2 is a perfect film.
Terminator 2 is amazing. Terminator 2, you
So
just love grilled cheese, rock and roll. Yeah.
And I also think grilled cheese is perfect.
Grilled cheese is great. It's fantastic. Was it truly great, innovative, influential film? I think if you're going to pick one of them to apply those three words to, it would be Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Aliens was innovative. Because I went back and watched Aliens when it was on the big screen a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, I like this a lot more than I realized I did.
Oh, it's
I thought, and I was like, I know I really like it. But I went back and watched it, and I was like, oh, this is better written and acted than I gave it credit for in my memory. It is.
Oh, okay.
But Alien is just.
Oof.
I mean, it's almost like an art film. I mean, it's so great. As PA and met the DP for Panic Room. Said he feels that Fincher hasn't come close to what he's capable of doing. So I had 7. To me, it's 7, and then Fight Club. Like Fight Club is the movie. Like,
it's amazing to me that Fight Club got made.
Yes, it's crazy because I like if you nail me down, I'm gonna say 7. I'm gonna say 7 is my favorite Fincher film. But in terms of like, I don't know. Like 7 is a great script. I think it's a great script. But I also think it's something. I also think it's something that he elevates the crap out of. I mean, it's a great script, but it becomes what it is because of Fincher, and that's what he does to things. But Fight Club is a thing where I'm just like, you're never gonna get that again.
You won't
from anyone.
No.
I mean, like, what is that?
It's like he went all in on Fight Club, and
I mean, it's like someone gave. It's like something where someone was like, "Here's something." It's like one of those things where they go, "This is unfilmable," and he just rose to the challenge and was like, "Give it to me."
And it also feels completely, it feels completely dated to be a '90s movie, and also that's the point. It just feels like it. I'm like, oh, that's. In every aspect of it, in terms of like what it's exploring thematically, the overt style that Fincher is using in it. Mm-hmm. He's at full Fincher in Fight Club. He's pulling out every trick, every visual trick, every visual CGI thing. He introduced everything this one movie, and he pulled out all the stops for this nihilistic, look at male. I don't know, testosterone and just, I don't know, it's just like this really interesting thing, and I also feel like that's the point. It's like it's a movie that's ironic and very well aware of that.
Sure.
But also it's just like, it's the only time that he went all in, and I think they gave him an enormous budget for this.
Yeah.
That is just crazy that he got that budget for a movie like that.
I mean,
and he delivered a fantastic film that people hated. And
I cannot believe that.
Yeah, I
remember seeing
vitriol that came out or in the reviews. Like, people were angry that it got made.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
And then it became a cult hit, and now it's considered one of the greatest modern movies ever made.
I think it is without question. That's interesting. It's interesting though that you said it's dated, because to me it's a movie that you will be able to pop in forever and still get knocked over by it.
I think so too. Yeah, but it feels of its era to me.
That's interesting. You're hesitant to see the movie for years? Why? The genuine content and meaning of the script, you gotta go back to the book. I mean, I feel like, well, I haven't read the book, but I've read about the book and have talked about the book and no, this doesn't count. But from what I understand of the book, I don't feel like it misrepresents the intent of the book. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What is it missing? I'm interested to know that.
And going back,
Favorite science fiction movie?
My favorite science fiction movie it's probably Alien.
Yeah,
it is Alien, and then it's The Thing.
That's interesting. I think because it is a science fiction movie. I feel like it's a horror movie. So when discussing its merits in depth, it helps to have read the book. Sure, but I feel like but I feel like the movie, to me, stands on its own. I mean, I guess like that's because I only have the movie to go on, and it does stand on its own for me. So I mean, I feel like but I get you. I mean, I understand that the movie the book goes in more depth than.
Well, I always view it like Derek is, it's some dumb male punching each other movie.
That's insane.
That's how people viewed it, kind of.
Right.
And like that's why people hated it. But it's like the point that I took away was that it's like men trying to figure out how to be like men.
Yeah.
In a world, and certainly that's why I said it. It feels like in the era of like the '90s Starbucks revolution, white collar job, getting the paycheck, getting the white picket fence, and that's considered success.
Yeah.
And then trying to feel like a primal man within that world.
Yeah.
IKEA nesting, right?
Planet Starbucks.
And that's why I said era, because it's introducing things like Starbucks and IKEA and all these things that are now hyper prevalent.
It was interesting,
which also makes it timeless,
Sure, and sorry, I said that's insane I think maybe it was you, Derek, when you said I thought it was just a punching guys movie. I said it was insane, not that it's insane that you thought that. It blows my mind that was the impression that was out there about that movie. Because to me, I don't know. Maybe I was in a book. That's a movie that I'm like much like Hook when I was a kid. But it blew my mind to find out that it was not instantly a hit, because I saw it as a freshman in college, because I'm old, and I was like, I remember going, oh, that looks great from the trailer. Yeah. Went to see it. And my friend and I just came out just going like, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Fight Club is hated. I went to the movie like yeah, it is amazing. It's amazing. Gosh, and like that's a movie where like, people are like, oh, I can't wait for you to play this game for the first time. Fight Club is a movie where I'm like, because when my wife and I taught a screenwriting and film production class, and also kind of we used that to study film, and I like the kids who would come in and had never seen Fight Club. I was like, I'm so excited for you to watch this for the first time. Man.
But Socrates is right. Like the amount of dudes who identify with Tyler Durden will burn your film soul to ashes.
So that's crazy.
And that's the thing. That's another thing that makes it interesting, because like I felt like it was adopted for the wrong reasons by a large group of people.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, toxic masculinity. Fuck yeah.
No. Well,
and guess what? This movie and Boondock Saints. Put them together in a double feature, baby.
Well,
because I'm going to go drink a 6-pack and I'm a college.
Spray on some Axe.
Look,
So, and I guess that's a thing that just missed me, because because that movie, that character, and that characterization by Brad Pitt, I mean, is amazing and indelible and awesome
and seductive
in the same way. I mean, well, actually pushed to like 15 that Popeye Doyle is. Like, you go, oh man, that's great, and then you're like,
no, it's not.
If a part of your brain goes, and that's who I'm gonna be,
yeah,
then you didn't watch the movie.
Exactly.
You didn't watch the end of the movie.
Right.
I mean, like,
because then you're become another person that's saying his name is
Robert Paulson. I mean, if you watch that movie, the movie is the point of the movie is to like
be horrified of,
you're like, yeah, like this guy's amazing and he's charismatic and he's awesome. And he's saying all these things that everyone thinks but no one said, and this, yeah, great, awesome, and then it is supposed to be seductive, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then it hits a point, and he becomes one of the most insidious and terrifying villains in film history. I mean, like, you didn't watch the movie if you come out of it going, I want to be Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
I mean,
like he created a cult.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, that's what he did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the movie. Yeah, I love that too.
I just love that sentence because it's so true.
Yeah.
I just love is how they introduce Meatloaf is with Edward Norton getting pushed into his bitch tits.
Bob had bitch tits. Yeah.
Bob. Yeah.
There's very similar to Scarface happening. Oh man.
Right. Yeah. That we should do a whole one about people,
and it's like Taxi Driver.
Yeah, like popular movies that people like adopted for the completely wrong reasons. Yeah.
Like it's like like Travis Bickle and I mean obviously Travis Bickle, obviously Tyler. I feel like all of these are obvious. You know what I mean? Like the role model of a big part of hip hop. Yeah, well, I mean I don't know. Yeah, I just
Oh, it was. Like, Scarface was...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a rapper called Scarface. But, like, it's like... and I get that they're, like, you know, like... And there are people who, you know, identify with the guy... They're, like, Corleone Mafia. Like, there's, like, that whole thing. And like, I've seen, you know...
Oh, yeah.
Rap videos where they're, like, you know, styling themselves as the Godfather and stuff. But, like, I mean... I think, to me, that isn't as shocking because a lot of rap talks about violence and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, we're gangsters and stuff. Like that's the that's the whitest thing I've ever done. But like, it's not. No, I'm not too pure to be corrupted. I just understand Fight Club, or I mean, like, I just get Fight Club, like enough people do. It's different from the movie. The movie kind of glues itself in that glorified, seductive mindset. Really? Oh, I feel like by the end of it, we are not supposed to. Didn't think the film ending worked for the film. How does the
spoiler alert? Can you tell us how the ending of the book is?
Yeah.
Because I think the only Palahniuk I've read is what was the movie that
Choke?
had Choke?
Yeah.
I read Choke and then I read Survivor, which was really good. I like Palahniuk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like him a lot. I read Lullaby. I've actually read a lot of his. Yeah.
It's like less aggressive. What do you mean? I mean, the ending to me when you say the ending of the movie, I think of the credit card buildings collapsing.
Yeah.
And
which kind of...
Where is my mind?
Yeah. It's a great ending.
You met me at a weird...
But couldn't you say that, like...
Short stories, yeah. I read Guts, goodness.
Oh, yeah, Guts.
In an insane asylum. Oh, interesting. Okay.
But couldn't you say that Project Mayhem at the end of Fight Club is still going? Or at least mission accomplished by successfully destroying those two buildings?
I mean, it does end kind of going like, well, they did it. And like,
yeah, and I guess he shot Tyler Durden.
Yeah.
So he took care of him.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
That's interesting. I mean, ultimately, it is true. I mean, ultimately they go, Tyler Durden is a monster. Like, he is a monster.
Yeah.
And he is wrong. He's taking things too far. But at the beginning, there's a lot that you purposefully are meant to, I think, identify with. And then at the end, like, there's this thing where he goes, no, they've all been evacuated. All these buildings are evacuated. No one's there. We're just destroying structures. We're destroying credit. We're all starting over. And then the things fall down. And yeah, there's a part of me that goes, oh, that'd be interesting.
Sure.
That'd be interesting if we got rid of the fiscal power structure, our
guess what? You don't have
our marriage to money.
Yeah, 40 years of debt, school debt anymore.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And everyone is back to zero. So everyone associated with Tyler Durden because everyone wants to be look like. Sure, yeah, you want to look like Tyler Durden. You want to be cool like Tyler Durden. You want to
have sex
like Tyler Durden. You want to
with gloves.
I mean,
on.
He has that. I mean, he says those lines. Like, look like you want to look like you want to fuck, and it's just like, yep, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think, and Brad Pitt's performance is amazing. I don't know that there's another actor who could have pulled that off the way that he did. There are other actors who could create an incredibly compelling Tyler Durden. He's a great character.
It's like the best version of the Devil I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
I mean, that's what it is.
That's great.
Because the Devil would be as charming and alluring, and like you would by the end of it want to be like him.
Yeah,
you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Nicolas Cage would be a very interesting Tyler Durden, but Brad Pitt's casting, aside from that tremendous performance, is not an accident either. I mean, it's similar to his casting for. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at that point, no, he was already Brad Pitt.
Oh, this is post Legends of the Fall, but this is him at his.
Sam Rockwell would be a great one.
He could be, but Sam Rockwell doesn't half of it really is the fact that like when he stands up. And I mean, this is gonna sound like what it sounds like, but like when he stands up and like after he beating the dude up and like they top light him so you can see every inch of his 19 abs. Yeah, it's like that's as much of the role, frankly. Yeah. And he's talked about how how much he had to train to get that specific body look because they wanted him to be the most appealing visually. Yeah. Personality-wise, so I really don't think there's another person who could have played him. I know. In addition to not just the physical, but the person, he's so charming in that movie. Yeah. And
he's also Brad Pitt. He's also the biggest movie star / heartthrob / everything. I mean, he's Brad Pitt. Yeah. He's Brad Pitt.
And this is
Pitt at the height of Brad Pitt.
It's Maximum Pitt.
It's Maximum Pitt. It's total Pitt. I mean, and it's funny too, because like. Because you see that movie and you just go like, dang, like, I want to look like that. I want to be like that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hi, Edward Norton. How's your sex life? Tommy Wiseau. Yeah. That would be great too. Max Pitt.
Max Pitt.
Well, also, it was funny. It's funny because I was watching an interview with Hugh Jackman. I think Akasha, she was looking at a bunch of like fitness stuff and whatever. He came up and he was talking about how he gets into shape for Wolverine, and there, and he's talking about how he's like, well, you do this, you train, you eat nothing, like I eat tons and tons and tons of protein, you train, blah 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 blah, and then he's like, in the weeks leading up to it, and she said she had heard Victoria's Secret models doing this or something, you like essentially drown yourself. You drink tons and tons of water and overhydrate yourself to the point of like almost dangerous.
Sure.
And then the day before you shoot or the day you shoot or whatever, you drink nothing for like a day and a half. And it's like, if you go and someone was like,
seems terrible for you.
It's really, he's like, don't ever do it. Yeah. It's awful for your body. And I don't know, someone in the crowd or someone was like, don't you die after 2 days of not water? He's like, yeah, it's not a good idea at all. Yeah. But what happens is you stop drinking and I guess I shouldn't even, this is like telling someone to make a bomb. Don't do this. Which they had to change in Fight Club too because.
Right, yeah.
But like, you don't drink and your body like sucks up all the water that you've stored and it just sucks at your skin to your muscles and then goes. So if you watch Fight Club and you go, dang, I don't look like that and I work out all the time. He doesn't look like that all the time either. He looked like that day. Yeah. And then they got it for that shot and then boom. And
then he immediately went to craft service and had like 6 gallons of water. Yeah.
Yeah. And then almost whatever. But like but it's so it's funny to hear Hugh Jackman say that because like, through the 2 decades of Wolverine movies that every time he does one, I go, your body is screaming. Yeah. It looks like it's in so much pain. Yeah. It's going, don't do this anymore. And it's amazing. You just go like, golly.
And frankly, for that character, it works even better because like he's just full of adamantium and he's just like, it's so funny because I've been playing the Spider-Man game and so I was like, oh man, I miss the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s that I grew up with. So I bought a couple seasons on Amazon and I've been flying through those bad boys. Or wait, that's X-Men. That's X-Men. So I'm getting to this.
I never thought that.
So they would do crossover episodes. Nice. And so they brought in the X-Men into a Spider-Man episode, and Wolverine. The interpretation of Wolverine
I remember as a child being like the interpretation.
He's like, ah.
Yeah, but he's way short.
Yeah.
Because he's Wolverine.
Yeah,
he's like a short dude, and they make fun of his height. And like I forgot that was a main characteristic of the comic book character. And it's just, I just identify it so much with Hugh Jackman. I mean, he is Wolverine now.
But he's like 6'2".
Yeah, but I forgot about the yellow costume. I forgot about all of it. And like, which is silly, but like, he's like 6'2", yeah.
Oh, I really want to. A friend of mine sent me an image of that cartoon suit in Spider-Man, and I was like, that's in the game. That's in the game.
Oh, the cell-shaded one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best one
I was like, oh,
it's the best one to wear.
Gosh.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Dresses weirdly, short and Canadian, totally identifying with him. Yeah, like Martin Short, him and Wolverine. That's yeah. But the thing is,
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
K Swords, thank you for the follow. The thing, so if you recast Wolverine,
it doesn't matter.
We are so far off, but it's great. If you recast Wolverine, ideally, like I'm always like, because
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you want to be like, well, I'm always up for Sam Rockwell and anything.
I know.
I love Sam Rockwell.
That's how versatile. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Danny DeVito. I honestly think young Nicholson would have been a very interesting.
Yeah.
What an interesting Wolverine. Clearly, Danny DeVito is the superior choice rock and roll score.
I love how your own background is scolding you.
Yeah, I know.
Get back on topic.
Yeah. Also, screw Swedish people. I was like, oh, come on, man. Come on. You don't have to. Come on.
Who would be a good modern day Wolverine?
I mean,
because they're gonna revamp it. So who do you think?
Honestly, you know who it would be is Tom Hardy. But like,
can I just say this about the new Venom movie?
Yes.
It looks terrible, and he looks like he is giving the worst performance I've ever seen. Not even just of Tom Hardy's
I love
career,
Tom Hardy, but
yeah. Like he looks so out of place being in that kind of movie.
I know.
And I love him.
I love Tom Hardy.
But like,
Mumbledore 556, thank you for the follow. I'm at the point where like I love Tom Hardy, but I'm like, can we stop casting him as a mumbling brute?
I'm a
monster.
little over
like
it.
The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, crazy. And like, yeah, and I feel like I mean, you know,
5 more times.
Yeah, and I'm like, they're casting you as this Tom Hardy. Inception is like the coolest movie ever. Like in terms of like that's what Inception has going for it.
Yeah,
it's awesome, and it is like cool, pumped up to a billion.
Right,
and it's every bit of it is cool. And the things are spinning, and your dreams within dreams, and DiCaprio and whatever. Tom Hardy is the coolest thing in Inception. Mm-hmm. Tom Hardy is incredible. Tom Hardy steals the show from that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the other actors. He steals Inception from Inception.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Let him do that.
I know.
Give him the charisma let him show the charisma. I have the same thing with Gosling. We talked about it. I'm like, let Gosling be alive. He is so fascinating when he is. Yeah. Tom Hardy
and Bronson is like, that's probably my favorite performance from him is in Bronson.
Yeah. And Tom Hardy's
amazing. He's turned into a mumbling. He's turned into this thing. We were having a conversation after the stream last week about De Niro and how I love De Niro. He's a great, brilliant actor. But it's weird how he became De Niro. And everybody was like, no, it's like him and Daniel Day-Lewis became the bar for what great acting is. When people like, even Pacino and Robert Duvall, who frankly, Robert Duvall, I think, is a far better actor than De Niro. Hot take. I don't know, but like
that's a hot take.
It's.
There's not. I mean, there's. I mean,
but maybe there's not a better.
No one's gonna.
Yeah, and maybe I shouldn't have said better, but like.
But like at least as good.
He's certainly as good, but it's like De Niro became like, oh, you're a great actor like De Niro. Oh, you're a De Niro kind of actor.
De Niro is the well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
He's the well, you don't have to be De Niro to.
Yeah, right.
He's the hey there Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Hey there De Niro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree.
The thing is, it's just like I feel like he's given tons of amazing performances, and also a lot of them very similar.
Yeah, sure. And he's great, and he's never
And I feel like that's what's happening to Tom Hardy.
Yeah, he's never bad. I've never seen Rocky and Bullwinkle. He's never bad. Rocky and Bullwinkle, by the way, written by Kenneth Lonergan.
Sure, why not? That makes total sense.
It's just,
that guy. Are
it's,
you serious?
Yes, it's just a lot of. Have you seen it? It's just a lot of like over the shoulder, heart wrenching conversations between Rocky and Bullwinkle. And he's like,
"Oh, I left the stove on. Oh, I."
He goes, "Oh well, Rocky. Sometimes there's just a hole I can't fill." And Rocky goes, "Yeah. Oh, gee, Bullwinkle, you never fill it." No, I can't do Kenneth Lonergan dialogue because he's amazing.
Wow.
But he wrote Rocky and Bullwinkle, which I've never seen. Maybe it's freaking great. And maybe De Niro's great in it. It's him and Rene Russo or Boris and Natasha.
Yeah.
I mean, how great is that?
Yeah.
De Niro, no, and I like, dude, De Niro, like, and again, I had to kind of go, back and kind of like, because like even Goodfellas, like he's great in Goodfellas. He's great in Goodfellas. He's great. But Goodfellas is not what makes De Niro De Niro.
No, it's not.
To me, it's The Godfather Part 2, and it's Mean Streets, and it's
Raging Bull,
and it's Raging freaking Bull. That's it. It's Raging Bull. Because I remember going I remember kind of diving into these old movies for the first, old like 70s stuff, and just kind of being like, all right, I'm gonna figure out why De Niro is De Niro. Because to me, yeah, you would hear, hey, De Niro, and I'd be like, I mean, De Niro, okay, like the guy who just kind of goes, like, I don't know, I'm cool, I'm real cool, he's like, oh, I don't know, what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna keep doing it until it's good, but it's not gonna get good. But no, it's because I say watch Raging Bull. We're gonna watch Raging Bull. Yeah. Mean Streets, he's great. He's incredible in Mean Streets. I think he's incredible in Godfather Part 2. Romantic comedy, De Niro, yeah. And he still can. I mean, he can still knock it out. I saw, what was the thing?
It's like, have you ever seen Kevin Costner in Silverado?
No, but I really want to. I love Costner.
It's like my favorite. Like, he is so good at being the opposite of what he became, which is great. I love Kevin Costner.
I love Kevin Costner.
But he is such an outgoing personality in Silverado. Like, he's the funny, wild one.
Yeah.
And he's like played for laughs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he kills it.
Yeah.
He kills it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, so it's almost like because he did that, I know the potential of his range. And then I'm like, you're working in such a small tableau of like what you're capable of.
And it's and it's the same thing with Gosling, the same thing with Hardy. I mean, these guys get pigeonholed. And like, there's a movie, what the heck is it called? I think it's called Everything's Fine. And it's a movie that came out maybe 5 years ago with De Niro. And he is a father, and he has 4 or 5 children. One of them might be Mark Ruffalo. And they're all. One of them is Drew Barrymore, and he goes on a trip, and he hasn't seen his family, his kids in a long time because they don't come home, and they're all kind of estranged from each other. And he goes on this trip around kind of the country, trying to figure out where the rift is and where whatever, and maybe one's not Ruffalo, whatever. And it's great, and it breaks my heart, and it's a great performance. I mean, it's De Niro playing a sweetheart of a man, a guy who just worked hard all his life, and then just is getting to, he's getting up there and just wants to reconnect with his family. And it's still De Niro, but he's just showing a side of himself that you never see, and I sob at them in that movie. Part of it is I think he reminds me of my dad, but that's but that's it. I mean, he just is that, and I just go, that's fantastic. Let him do stuff like that. But no one went to see it. I mentioned it. You've never heard of it. I wrote a review of it, and I called it The Deer Hunter.
Get it?
The deer.
No, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
That's why I told the story.
And I gave you one clap.
Yeah, I gave you a high five so we could move on. I didn't know there's a post 9/11 drama film. Yes, there is. Reign Over Me. Yes, and that is.
Oh yeah,
it's a very good performance by Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler's another guy where it's just like when he chooses to do something worthwhile.
Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love.
We're gonna watch Punch. Have you not seen? You probably haven't seen Punch Drunk Love. Probably. Maybe you have. You have.
I saw that in the theater,
It's great.
and I never saw a more confused audience
I
in my
love-
life.
I love it when that happens. No, I don't. It makes me sad.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, that's the one movie where I've seen the most people walk out without question.
How can you go into that movie and not know that?
Oh, because it's Adam Sandler.
But watch a trailer.
You're giving people too much
Even
credit.
the poster.
It doesn't matter. There are people that literally go to the movies and they're like, "Hey, what's playing?"
Yeah, I know.
And they
I know.
select what they go without having decided yet.
I know.
And then they're like, "Oh," and this is at the time
Adam
before
Sandler,
where
I
it was
like, yeah.
you had the little bumper
I
sticker type illuminated bumper stickers. Oh, I missed that. And it had the screenings underneath it.
Mhm.
You're like, who is that? Oh, that's Adam Sandler. And then they would go in.
Yeah.
And like people
Okay.
were talking through it, and it was terrible. It was a terrible way to watch it.
Yeah, the poster. As I said, the poster. I was like, the poster wouldn't do it.
No.
Watch a trailer though.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can almost tell from the poster that it's not exactly but whatever.
Also, this was before you had YouTube, so it was kind of harder to watch trailers. I feel like
Yeah.
they had you had to go like on QuickTime.com
Yeah.
/trailers.
Yeah. Which I used to.
Oh,
all the
it's
time.
all I did in high school.
I
Was just
know.
live on there. Yeah. But I agree. Like I don't watch trailers anymore. Usually because they're either fantastic and there's like pieces of art unto themselves, or they
Like
give
the
it all
Little
away.
Children trailer is the best trailer I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Absolutely. The trailer
I'll
to
go
Little
home and
Children.
watch it.
Yeah. Watch the trailer to Little Children. It's the best trailer I've ever seen in my life. I love the use of color in Punch Drunk Love. I love everything about Punch Drunk Love. Punch Drunk Love.
That's one of my favorite PT.
It is
movies.
definitely one of my favorite.
It might.
If
it's up there.
Magnolia makes me go.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Jim
think
Carrey-
the fact that it's a little more concise and it's
yeah.
not so sprawling, I think that's why I like it even more, because it's like
Gosh, it might be my favorite.
I think it's the one I've probably revisited the most.
Boogie Nights is amazing.
It's great, but it's not something I watch nearly as much as Punch Drunk.
I've actually never seen the number 23. I haven't seen a lot of the more. I mean, I've seen Eternal Sunshine. That's the one where I was like, they finally. It's so great. And the thing is, I love him so much. He is a genius.
Yeah.
He's
an actual
genius.
Yeah.
Like
not even just
No.
with acting. He's an actual genius.
Well, yes, and also, he's also like, I mean, he is Dick Van Dyke. He is Dick Van Dyke. He is that level of physical brilliance. He's like Dick Van Dyke plus Robin Williams, but he's just. Jim Carrey is one of the most brilliant performers who's ever walked the earth.
Yes,
I think. He was so. I'm very interested to see, and I won't because I just don't get to do things like this anymore. I would love to see that Michel Gondry, Jim Carrey, kidding.
that looks like.
I'm just like,
so
please.
that's Michel Gondry too. Oh, so it's a reteam.
I think he's producing it, so he probably directed the first one or something. But
that's very interesting because I mean they really did capture lightning in a bottle with Eternal Sunshine.
Yes, and to me, because I love Jim Carrey, and I mean I love him, but they're just, I mean, bless him, he's so. There was just a thing it didn't seem he was able to break through. You watch the Truman Show, and I'm like, he's
great.
I mean, he's good, but he's just performing. He's just acting, always. Even Man on the Moon, acting. I just feel like I always see him acting. Eternal Sunshine was fine. I just was like, he did it. He did it. Somehow, they either a director was like, less, no, stop, less, no, stop, less, stop, less, like or
less
or
to
something.
the point of do nothing, and then he was like, I have to be myself.
And it's so
almost.
tough
Because I feel like that dude has a hard time until recently, where I really do feel like he kind of gave up acting and was like he had a.
I mean, he's
I think
fast, and to me, I'm like, make all
spiritual,
the movies now, make them now. But I mean, like maybe it's like better for him that he does.
Well, I don't think he has nearly the interest anymore unless he can do stuff where he can do it, which is what this new Netflix thing looks like.
I know. Actually, yeah. He did a thing like that was like he's a detective tracking down. It was an indie thing, and
it was like a Russian film.
Yeah, and I was like, that looks interesting. No,
Bad reviews.
Yeah, I did see that it was reviewed poorly, but I don't always agree with the review. Return of the Sunshine is actually your favorite movie, but I totally believe that. That movie is heartbreaking, and it's Charlie effing Kaufman, and it's Spike Jones. Spike Jones?
No, it's Michelle.
Oh, it's Michelle Gondry. Right. Sorry. Of course. Yeah. It's Spike. It's Michelle Gondry and Charlie Kaufman. Of course, absolutely, that makes sense. It's your favorite movie. That's wonderful. A dream team.
When they're like driving back from the beach, I think, but it's like everything's getting hazy, and they're like, I think there's sand in the car at one point. And
that movie's amazing.
They're flying by all his memories. The music in that from John Bryan is just that. I just remember that sticking that moment. It's a quick moment. It's like a transition scene almost. But I just was like, God. I remember just being in the theater and being like, this is so unbelievably beautiful.
It's incredible. Yeah. And I mean, it's just, I mean, what a tribute to all of them, but what a tribute to Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
Because, and I read an interview with Charlie Kaufman recently. I think I reposted it and stuff on Facebook. Now, recently, it was probably like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. And it might have been when Anomalisa came out, or maybe a little after, but where it was like, he was just saying, he was just kind of like, it's like, I don't know, like people don't like what I do, and they just don't.
I think we both read that.
He's like, I think I missed the boat, or I didn't do the right thing at the right time, or something. And he's like, and people, the interviewer was like, but you know that people, you're a genius, and people think. And he's like, I mean, it's really nice of you to say that, and but like, and sometimes I'm kind of like. Sometimes maybe I can believe that, or I don't know. I don't even know if he said that, but it was just so like, he was just like, my career doesn't bear that out. Like, people don't go see my movies and whatever. And I'm just like, it broke my heart. Yeah. I was like, Charlie Kaufman?
Yeah.
And I was like, we have really done something wrong if Charlie Kaufman doesn't realize how appreciated he is.
But his work is so autobiographical too, that you can kind of see.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you watch Adaptation, and I'm like, I can see.
I mean, that literally was born out of his own failure to adapt that book. I mean, like a green...
Hornety thumb. Yeah, that was not great.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Green Hornet is a Michelle Gondry movie.
No, it isn't.
With Seth Rogen. Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is. It is. Hence...
That's not true.
It is, yeah. Let's just sit with that.
That blew my mind just now. How did I never hear that? And also, what?
Yeah.
Well, I have to see it now.
All I remember.
I was vaguely interested to watch Seth Rogen play a superhero.
I had no ties to the TV series, so I didn't care.
Did you not see it?
No.
What
I saw a trailer and I was like, oh, they're kind of doing cool, interesting things with the camera work during the fight choreography, but...
Well, now I really want to watch it. Nick Stahl? If we should send anyone a card, it should be Brendan Fraser and Nick Stahl. I really like Nick Stahl.
I love Nick Stahl.
Nick Stahl
sounds well, never mind, but... It sounds like he needs to get out of his own way, from what I've heard, and then he'll be back in action.
I mean, when was the last time you saw him? Right?
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser, yeah. Brendan Fraser's great. Mummy's great.
It's a great movie.
Super great. I mean, how fun.
I guess it's my favorite Stephen Sommers movie. That's not really
that's all I know is.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Van Helsing.
I never saw that.
Mummy 2.
I would totally watch that. Yeah. Interesting that you brought up Nick Stahl. I feel like I've always kind of been like, Nick Stahl's great, and I don't know where he went, and I never hear anyone talk about him. It's by Gondry. It was. He's from Dallas.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 of Gondry movies. Well, boy. Still going to object to the worst of what he's done. You talking about Green Hornet? until they replaced him with Tom Cruise and that.
Oh, The Mummy. Yeah.
But that wasn't Stephen Sommers.
What was my favorite movie of 2018 so far?
I haven't seen enough of 2018 stuff. So this is something I wanted to talk to you about. We watched First Reformed recently.
Oh, that's up there.
So we watched.
God, that is up there.
So here's the deal. Like we watched, and I wanted to watch that so badly, and we watched it in a very weird way. We watched.
If you came out in 2018. Want to call me baby, just go ahead now. Come on, we love the spin doctors. Don't get scared.
It's for you two to swap roles with your beds replacing your lives and you. Two are beds now.
Wait, what? Ragdy! Dude, how you been? Oh my gosh, thank you for that ridiculous donation. So it's for you two to swap roles with your beds replacing your lives, and you two are beds now. That'll take some money. I don't... This is a donation zone. This is a donation zone. This is a donation zone. You, yeah. This is a donation zone. This is a donation zone. This is a donation zone. You, yeah. Racky, thank you so much, dude. Good to see you again. Thank you for that huge donation, my friend. Good, great. So we were watching, how are you, by the way? Hope you're well. Discussion is about male actors. Wait, what discussion? This discussion is about male actors? Oh, you're talking about, I see. Yeah, I got you, Drayden. That's unfortunate. So we watched First Reformed. We watched the first like 20, 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And we just started it way too late. And I think
it's a slow burn.
Our daughter cried, and it was like 3 a.m. And we'd watched 20 minutes of it. We're like, we're not gonna. This is because she goes up, and she doesn't come back down for another whatever. It was like we'll just have to. Stopping at that 25-minute mark, I was like, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
It's great
in my life.
Yeah,
and it is. Like from the first shot.
Yeah,
it is shot beautifully.
Yeah.
It is acted.
Yeah.
Impeccably. It is written.
Dead or alive,
just stunningly.
Yeah.
And then watch the second act. Now, hold on. Thank you, Nico66, for the follow. And it's not that it got bad.
Because it didn't.
It just... I just, stopping at that 20, 22, 25-minute mark, I was like, I have no idea where this is going.
Yeah.
And then it went away, and I was like, oh, it went that way. Okay. And it was...
In the sense that you saw where it was going.
No, I just... I had heard it compared to another film.
What film?
Also written by Paul Schrader.
Okay. I know which film you're talking about.
And I was like, oh, and then it started heading that way, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, okay, it's going to do that. Okay. There's sometimes when I watch a movie and I'm so entranced by it, and I go, this is so, I've never seen a movie like this, or I don't even, I'm just like, my brain opens up with possibility, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was sort of breaking, because we stopped it and then we talked about it when we weren't watching it. We're like, I can't wait. I don't even know where it's going. It's great. Blah, blah, blah. And then it went that way, and I was like, okay. And then doing good. And yes, you'll eventually replace oh. Okay. I mean, please no. But thank you. Let's talk Alicia Vikander. Okay. 1 second.
We're talking about First Reformed.
Ethan
Hawke. Written, directed by Paul Schrader.
Bad Times at the El Royale. I have a screening for Bad Times at the El Royale.
I'm very excited to see that.
Really?
Yes.
Let me see. I'll go check and see if it's too late, because we could start also doing.
If you got
contemporary
a ticket,
trailers,
I'll go see it with you.
Contemporary reviews.
I heard good things in a trailer. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Here's a subgenre I love. Movies that take place entirely
one location
at a motel, and it's during a rainstorm, and it's very specific.
Identity?
And there's Identity, which is great, and then this one, which looks great because it's got rain and it's in a motel, so I'm in. And then Psycho falls for half of it, more or less.
Yeah.
Or there's at least a couple good scenes with some rain in there at a motel. And then there's one other one that I can't remember. But boy, am I a sucker! Like, it doesn't even have to be a good movie, and I'm like, I don't care. I loved it.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
There's something about that combo. Is so good.
Oh, I love the assault on precinct. The one location.
Yeah.
Demon Knight.
Haven't seen it.
You've never seen Demon Knight.
We should watch Demon Knight. Should we make that part of?
I don't know if we.
I want to talk about the horror movies before we leave.
We are.
Because I want to. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
You watch. What did you think about the second half of First Reform?
It was good. It went. I was like, okay.
Where did you think it was going to go?
I literally had no idea.
Well, then you can't fault it for going somewhere.
No, I can't. But I was excited by the prospect of like, I don't know where this is going, and it feels like it could go away that I never went, that I've never seen before. And it went. I was like, oh, it's one of those. It's one of those. And that's fine. And it did not get bad. And this is extreme.
I loved it.
I'm glad.
I loved the ending.
Yes, and the ending made me go like, oh.
The ending made my audience literally one of the Alamo Drafthouse waiters. There was 20 seconds of silence because the credits don't go for a while.
Right.
It ends on like I felt like they held an extra cut. They're like, here's where we should cut. Now go 4 extra frames too short, and then because it just you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then one of the Alamo Drafthouse staff was like, that's how it really ends.
Just drop
like
it
literally.
To say
it's like, no, that's it. That's the
LeBron
ending.
sleep.
Because everybody thought like the reel had cut out.
Oh wow, that's really funny.
Just go ahead now. Come on, you love this bit. Don't get scared.
Lots of love for those.
Ever got caught in a really awkward moment to the point where someone dies somewhere?
I don't think so. If you mean somewhere else, I don't know that I would know. God willing, that's never happened. No, I don't think so. Love you too, Mrs. X Gene. Thank you so much. Thank you for those 19 months. Good gravy, Racty. Good night, my friend. Thank you so much, dude. So I 2 nights ago had an interesting conversation with Ben Moody about that movie.
Okay.
1 second. This is the Donation Song. 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 Oh yeah. Hey there, buddy. Thank you, Racty. Lots of love.
Talk to Ben Moody about it.
And he said that he talked to someone who brought up something he had not considered. And I had not considered this either. He said that he talked to someone, and that person brought up the possibility that the ending is in his head.
Mm-hmm. That might have been me. I don't think it was, but
no, because
I think we talked about it.
He would have said you. I think he said someone else.
Okay.
So you think that?
I don't think that. I think it's a possibility. It's one of the reasons that I think the ending's great, and I also think I'm like, it would have been ballsier for him to have just chosen one or the other. Where it's like, no, this is firmly set in reality, or this is completely a dreamlike thing. And the fact that because he said as much in an interview, it's like, I didn't really know how to end it.
So he did mention this, so maybe it was you, but he would have said anyway.
And he was like, I didn't really know, so I went for more of a vague thing. And I was like, so you copped out a little.
Well,
it still works great, but I'd rather know one way or the other, because either way would work for me if it was just solidified.
Sure, I agree, and it did add another layer to it. I don't necessarily. So for one thing, it didn't occur to me. So I feel like it would have been. Because I'd like to, in a second, when I'm done, I would like to know what made you consider that. What
I can tell you right now. It's the barbed wire.
I don't want to hear. Yeah. So we talked about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and Akash, for some reason, we just kind of were like, okay, I guess either he took it off or they're just saying it. He's so enraptured in the moment. We did kind of go like, so I don't know why we didn't make that jump. Actually,
it's almost exactly that because the hug. I mean, and you could make that thing, but it's like, boy, that's weird that they're not even addressing anything about that.
I agree, and it echoes the sort of. But to me, what it echoed the previous scene where they lift off the ground, which I would have, and I like Kash and I were talking about that moment too, and I was like, and we eventually were like, I get why they did the stuff after that with the kind of like almost like not rear projection, but it looks like rear projection stuff. But I was like, if they hadn't done that and they had just, I was like,
it would have been great if they had just done that.
If they had just done that,
then they went like Lebowski with it.
I know, and I was like, oh,
it's not a perfect film, but boy, is it good.
Yeah, and I was like, don't, like, I wish, because that, like, when they did that, I went,
yeah,
I love moments like that when they're well placed and done tastefully. Yeah, I know.
It would have been great.
Just magical realism, just beautiful. Like, it's such a, and it echoed that, but I think the reason it didn't make me go, that was imagined, was that wasn't imagined. And it was just, oh, it's that sublime to him. It's that whatever that it.
And you can make that argument.
And I think
for sure.
And Ben said that it was like, and I know we're being very vague. Sorry.
Sorry, because I understand that a lot of people haven't seen this either. You should. It's a great movie.
It's a recent enough film that I feel like I don't want to spoil it. I mean, he was like, she couldn't have got in because the door was locked. And I was like, okay, I don't know about that.
Oh yeah.
But I brought up and I was like, that would make sense with that. But I feel like he didn't, because I don't mind a movie that goes, was it or wasn't it, and kind of makes it a litmus test for the kind of person you are. I don't mind, or for your feeling of that film, for your experience of that film. I don't mind that. But and I like that. Actually, that's a strong ending for me, depending on how you do it. But this one to me didn't. I don't know. It didn't occur to me that because I was just like, oh, I guess it's a heightened thing, like the other thing. It didn't enough for me go, is it?
Yeah.
Like it didn't do the.
No, I agree.
Like, and so I'm kind of
worked,
like,
and it also felt like, I could have.
You do mind if the was or wasn't fulcrum is stupid or trivial? You mean if you mind if the Schrodinger's cat of, or like the essentially the if something that did or didn't happen, or the indicator that it did or didn't happen? What do you mean, say?
You like it to seem like there's some thought put into it as to whether it is or isn't, like it's an intentional thing.
I sounds like you're saying that the thing that may or may not have happened is not central to the story. Is that what you're saying? Like, I'm not. Well, say more of that. Say more about that, Sir Chewbacca. What are you talking about? In Annihilation.
But going back to favorite movies of 2018,
yes,
I'll say that I honestly feel like the most fun I had at the theater this year, and the one that I thought about the most afterward, was
Mission Impossible.
Was John Krasinski's Quiet Place.
Oh, that's interesting.
I really enjoyed that movie. Like, that felt like a movie that should have been made in the 80s, that just was tight, small, it accomplished a goal, and it did it really well.
Yeah.
And it just did it really well. I really enjoyed that movie. And I loved Hereditary, but I also had issues with the ending of Hereditary to the point that it kind of ruined what it does well. It does so well that it made the ending not needed for me. They did not need to explain things in a nuts and bolts sense in terms of the plot of like why things were happening the way they were happening, because in terms of menace alone, it was doing such a good job that I felt it was 3/4 of a great movie, and then the last third really kind of undercut it. But Quiet Place was just from top to bottom. It like made me cry, and like I was holding my breath the whole time. And I thought, I was like, is this gonna be a gimmick movie because like we can't talk or there's no sound or whatever? But no. and it was just a great, beautifully executed, mature. Like I felt like there was a firm directorial hand behind it, and I loved it. I really did.
Yeah. I was like that's a solid premise, and it's original, and it is executed well. It didn't blow me away, cool. But yeah. Derek, yes. Yes. Now and please remind me what you're talking about at the end of Annihilation, because I watched it and I can't remember. But the thing that we're talking about, whether it did or didn't happen in First Reformed, is essentially the climax of the. I mean, it is incredibly important to the plot. I mean, it is the plot. So, in and out of the lighthouse. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about all that. Yeah.
Oh, like once she goes into that. Yeah. Once she goes into the hole and then she comes back out, it goes into crazy town.
I remember going like, oh, that's an interesting mechanic thing, and that's interesting. Like I haven't seen that.
I thought it was I would you know what? I can't talk about it because I that's something that I have got to revisit in order to have an intellectual conversation about that ending. Because I was so like, what is happening? There's no way you can, like, anybody who tells me that they got it on the first go around, I'm like, no, you didn't.
Well, what do you mean? Wait, get what?
Lighthouse post lighthouse. What does that mean?
Because it's
when she runs into her double quote alien double /
Sure. Well, I feel like I have a vague. I'm like, I get what happened.
Spit some knowledge.
Well, no, I don't get why it happened.
What happened? Exactly.
Well, it's a thing where this this thing is creating genetic combinations of things, and then at the very crux of it, it's a thing that
I think you're onto something. And I'm also now realizing, I guess I really didn't like that movie.
Yeah,
because I don't remember shit.
And that's it. Is that I kind of was like, oh yeah, there's like whatever, and yeah, because then there's like there's 2 Oscar Isaacs, and it's like
that's right.
Because then at the end there's like
them, and then they hug at the end.
And and
is she or isn't she?
And they're both not.
Yeah,
or they don't know, and it's like interesting. And I was kind of like, sure, interesting.
Yeah,
cool. I saw that trailer and I was like,
yeah,
oh man. And then, I just didn't. I wasn't. The weight wasn't there. I just wasn't with it. I just kind of was like, okay, all right. And it felt like
my favorite part of that movie is when they find that videotape, and it's the best. Like to me, the truest moment, and I think it's the best acting I've seen Oscar Isaac do ever. Which is a testament because he was in Llewellyn Davis.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac's fantastic.
When they find that camcorder and it's him cutting open the guy to find his innards moving, and it's like a snake or whatever.
Yeah, and he's just like,
and the look on his face is like a guy who's taken acid.
Yeah. He's like,
and he's just like, it's a bizarre performance,
yeah.
And it's like. That is so haunting to me.
Yeah.
That that's honestly the only thing I remember from that movie.
Yeah.
In a specific way.
There's some interesting. His character is basically dead and gone at the beginning of the story. Doesn't really come back as an important plot driver ever. So that was, that's interesting. The bear screaming. Oh yeah, that was crazy.
It was cool, but
there was some crazy stuff in it. That's
true.
Did you
think? I just felt like that bear scene, and it was really cool. It was super cool.
Yeah.
And it was done very well. And it was really creepy.
Yeah.
I also felt that they were like, this is going to get them. Like, we need a scene that's going to be like a talked about scene. And that was the scene. They were like, well, if they're going to allow us to make this movie, we got to put some scene like this in here. So let's do it. Because it felt kind of, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I feel like I'm nitpicking.
No, I just feel like, it... I don't know. It really says. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it says something about where I was when I watched it or something. But to me, it says something about a movie if stuff like that happens and I just forget it.
Yeah,
like that bear thing is truly like, whoa, crazy. And then I legitimately forgot that there's a thing that apes her movement.
The
and
big thing at the end.
And I just kind of was like, oh yeah. And it's almost like, to bring it back to the French Connection, like, and granted, the French Connection is a much more straightforward story to tell.
Oh yeah.
But it is, but it's like you were talking about how it keeps you know what's going on. It's very clear filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're talking about shot wise and stuff, so it's something different. But the story kind of goes like, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And then you kind of go, and then they go, this is happening. Like they literally have a character go, I think this is happening.
Yeah, right.
And then you go, so that's what's happening. And then they go off, and then something else is kind of happening. And then you go, fine, keep going. I don't care. Like, it's not, whatever. And then it just kind of goes, and then it goes like, are they or aren't they? And I go, I don't care. And it's not fair. It's like, it feels like this, I don't mean to. It feels like it has elements of like a Cameron movie. It feels almost like The Abyss or something like that, but none of the clear, memorable filmmaking.
It was
or writing
Stalker made by James Cameron. That's kind of what it felt like. Because it desperately wanted to be a sci-fi art film. Like that's what it wanted to be. And to its testament, like, it kind of accomplished that, at least in how much it alienated people wanting to go see it.
Who directed? I don't even.
Alex Garland, who did
Ex
Machina.
And
28 Days. Like, he's sci-fi royalty, essentially. Sunshine.
He did Sunshine?
He wrote Sunshine.
I still have not seen Sunshine. I know. We need to have a sci-fi whatever after we have horror.
Boy, I think. Okay, what's your favorite genre? Because I really do think sci-fi is probably my favorite genre.
That's interesting. There's a lot of great sci-fi.
There's just, it provides a way to touch upon real world topics in a way that feels so, I don't know, you can get away with so much stuff in sci-fi that you couldn't in a normal drama without it feeling preachy, you know?
Yeah. So I did interesting. This was an interesting cover, because I had this talk with Ben over Facebook Messenger. Facebook. I'm open for Facebook Messenger sponsorships or any sort of. No, I'm not. He was talking about another film that he saw that was a sci-fi film that was he was very much looking forward to, and he said that they missed the boat in terms of like making comments on things, and that it was just sort of like a straight up whatever. He was talking about the power of sci-fi to make comments, to make social commentary.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I agree with that. I agree that all the best horror, all the best sci-fi kind of do that. And that elevates those movies. And it also, gives us a way to think, to reflect and stuff. But I also kind of was like, I don't know if it is more effective than, say, something like Fruitvale Station. Like, I'm like,
oh no,
well,
no, that's not.
And I'm not saying that's what you're saying.
No, but I understand what you're saying. Like
I'm just kind of like, I'm like, because a dude can because he was talking about Predators or the new Predator, and I haven't seen it, but he was saying that he felt that, and he was really excited because it was Shane Black,
sure,
as anyone would be.
Really surprised that it wasn't well received.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was going to be a slam dunk.
Who knows? But and he was like, I feel like they missed the boat in terms of like making a commentary, like all this gun militaristic stuff. Like there's like this is a great time to make a comment on this sort of gun culture, whatever, all this stuff. And I was like, sure. And I was like, but I don't know that making a movie just literally about that, I mean, a story that is good and whatever, but also has that at the heart of it, is not more effective than making Predator and then having that in there so that people can go, people who already agree can go, I see. And other dudes can just be like, no, Predator is awesome, they shoot stuff.
Was he arguing that that's what the whole movie should be about? Because here's what's great about sci-fi.
Yeah.
You can just touch upon stuff in very minor ways,
right?
And it leaves an indelible impact across the whole film. So like, you know, like even like how Paul Verhoeven uses ultraviolence and all his, you know, Total Recall and RoboCop and stuff. It's all very intentional.
Yes.
And that therefore it makes a statement about the culture. Like,
right.
And so I guess that's what I'm saying, that you can't do that in Fruitvale Station necessarily, because you have to use more tact, and you can't thematically you can't say one thing and then therefore have it mean something else. I mean, I guess you obviously
like, and
you can,
he made a good counter argument that I'm trying to remember, but I think he was like, he's like, you won't get the same people in, like you won't, the people who will go see Fruitvale Station are the people who already agree. And
I mean, that's mostly correct.
And the people who go see Predator is everyone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think that was, he made a counter argument that I was like, oh, okay. Hey, honey. Oh man. So, oh gosh. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
I just find it way less in your. There's nothing I can't stand more than like movies that are dealing with a specific topic.
Yeah.
And doing it without using something else. Like, I saw a trailer before Hold the Dark tonight that was about a lot of racial cop stuff and back and forth. And then there's another movie that's dealing with the same thing, but tackling it in a much different, more thematically different way.
I feel like I've seen a trailer for one of the ones you're talking about.
And so one of them looks like, I'm like, that's how you need to tackle that issue. Because you gotta look it straight in the eye, but make it about the narrative and the character.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then this other one looked like, I was like, oh, you're making it about addressing the movement head on. And therefore, at least from the way the trailer presented it, I was like, oh, you're just going to talk at your audience.
Yeah. And that's what you can't do, obviously.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
You know? It's not effective art, because like I'm all for that cause and everything, and I love exploring those ideas.
Sure.
But you got to do it from the inside out.
And I think yes, in exactly those words, Socrates. Wine and dine him toward the point. Don't just unzip it right there. Absolutely. But I agree. Like you can't be preachy.
Do that.
Because Fruitvale. Let's be honest. What's wrong with you? Yeah. I've got like a mole's nose at the end of. Well, it's like but like Fruitvale, like the strength of Fruitvale, to me, like it shattered me.
I was there in the theater
with
you.
Yeah, exactly. And
I could hear you.
I know.
7 seats down.
Being moved by the.
I was also there. I was right there with you, crying quietly and tastefully.
And I was like, I care so much. I just care so much.
That's not how I took it, but I'm going to now.
Yeah, I know.
Care so much.
Oh my God.
All these feelings. I support all of this.
No.
Look how important
I'm wearing fur, but I don't appreciate it. I don't know why that's part of it.
Did you see? You probably haven't, but like, because you have your own life, but like, does anybody know what's going on with Lindsay Lohan right now?
No, someone said Lindsay Lohan is a good actor. Oh, the thing. Oh,
have you heard about what happened?
I saw that thing, and I was like, I have the option to click play on this, and I'm not going to.
It is next. There is not one thing in that video that makes any damn sense. It's amazing to watch, because she's speaking in an accent. She's claiming to speak Arabic, but I think she's going using a lot of racially insensitive, just like a lot of mannerisms from Arabic
from Michael
language.
Bay movies.
Yeah, and then throwing in like one word. Apparently, from people who do speak Arabic, they were like, she's just saying meaningless words and then claiming that she's very fluent in this language. And then she's trying to steal. She sees two, like a homeless family, and then she tries to get them a hotel room. and then they say no, and they start walking away, and she tries to steal their children to take them to a hotel room, and then she gets slugged in the face by the mom. And then immediately she comes out of her accent and just starts going like this. And it's great. And it's crazy.
I saw, I saw that she felt like the children were in danger because they were homeless.
Yeah, but then halfway through she starts accusing the parents because they won't go with her because she's legit crazy and like clearly on something. And they start walking away from her and she's like, oh, I know who you are now. You're traffickers. She starts accusing the parents of being human traffickers.
Oh, right.
And it just... so this becomes a huge thing, and she videotaped it all herself.
Yeah,
she did it all to herself.
Okay,
it's great, and very tragic at the same time.
Hold on, I feel all of the things that I'm supposed to, and none that I'm not.
But that's what reminded me of it, because it felt like the entire time she was doing it, it felt like she was like. Oh. Let me save you. Look how good I am by saving you. You won't let me save you. I'm going to do it despite you clearly being terrified of who I am and what I'm trying to do here. Oh, now you're punching me. And then reality just came home. Boom. And it's the fact that she gets hit and she comes screeching to a halt and reality just comes hitting her in the face and she turns. She just goes, ah, she attacked me. And you're like, no, you tried to steal her children.
Oh, man. Boy.
Anyways, tangent. I know you don't like to
ridicule
people.
No.
But boy, do I not have an issue with it. That woman is bananas. And I thought she went away. Like, she moved out of the country and, like, she was getting better, and that's why we hadn't heard of her. And then that popped up, and I was like, oh, she's, like, just been living it up over there.
Over where?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wherever she was.
Boy. Bananas is such a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
Well, boy. Best to all involved in that situation.
He's so nice.
Hopefully those people will end up on a talk show and people will
hopefully
send
they get
them
some money. That would be great. Yeah.
And maybe she'll get a role out of it.
Who, Lindsay? Oh. Do you think she's a good actor?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything. I literally don't know if I've ever seen her. Oh, I saw Georgia Rule. The Georgia Rule by Gary Marshall. And it had Jane Fonda. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, in between, what does he do? Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve. And he's like, this is his big pitch in the meeting. He's like, we're doing all the holidays.
Wait, did he direct both of those?
Didn't he?
Oh, I don't know. Did he?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
It's me, Gary Marshall.
That was in Russia? Oh, I don't know. What? And they spoke English? I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, Gary Marshall does all the holiday movies. Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve.
What do we know Gary Marshall from besides
Happy Days?
Yeah. Besides creating
and then
Icon Laverne and Shirley.
And then I think he did Pretty Woman. Let me double check that.
Gary Marshall did Pretty Woman. Really?
There's Gary Marshall and then there's Frank Marshall, but he's a producer.
Right. Well, there's Penny Marshall.
And Penny Marshall,
who's his daughter and his
daughter or sister?
Daughter.
So he did Pretty Woman.
He did Pretty Woman.
Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy.
Beaches.
And
then he did Mother's Day.
Oh, you're not kidding. Wow.
Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve. He did Runaway Bride.
Yep. Which is pretty wow. It's
A League of Their Own.
I thought Penny Marshall did that. Gary Marshall did that?
I thought Penny Marshall did that too. Hold on, checking.
Maybe he produced League of Their Own. Maybe he's on there as a producer.
Hold on. I mean, I typed in Gary Marshall movies.
But, okay.
Let me find it.
Okay. All right, we got to figure this out. He must have, this has to be, it's Penny Marshall. It has to be Penny Marshall.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so he produced it.
Okay.
So it's interesting that it is riveting. I need to know who directed. I need to know that my estimation, my knowledge of who directed League of Their Own is correct. I don't. This is going to sound, well, not good in any way. So maybe I shouldn't say it. But here we go. I remember reviewing the Georgia Rule, which was maybe the only thing I've ever seen Lindsay Lohan in, and going back through Gary Marshall's filmography and going, again, I'm sorry in advance. They're all like chick flicks, all of them. Every single one. I'm just like,
yeah, that's what he does.
And I'm like, that's so. Why? That's so interesting.
Because they make the bucks.
Yeah. And Pretty Woman's great. Pretty Woman's great.
Yeah. It's got an asshole Jason Alexander in it.
Yes, it does.
He straight up tries to rape.
Yes, he does.
Julia Roberts in that movie, which I did not remember until I rewatched it like sometime this year because it was on TBS or something and had it on the background. And then I wasn't watching it until that scene happened. I was like,
yeah,
that's George Costanza.
Yes, it is.
Trying to R her.
Yeah. Yep. Laura San Giacomo's in there as a prostitute.
I don't know who that is.
Cool. Just shoot me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think her name's Kit.
How do you know her name?
I don't know. They're just some things I know.
But anyway, French Connection's a great movie.
It is really great. You should watch it. Really, we missed the most important thing, which is the ending. The way it ends. I mean, okay. We kind of touched on. Well, the dang thing about the French Connection is that it really, and I read something. I checked in on a review by Roger Ebert that mentioned something that I was like, that really is a really perspicacious observation. The thing where so this thing where he is all right.
This heat's getting to us.
Yeah, where he's driving. The dude is riding in the elevated L train. Popeye is weaving under, and just all these obstacles, and he's just really, he's just constantly, and he's talking about how that kind of sort of not personifies, but it sort of embodies the which is the exact same thing, the sort of the theme of it, or the spirit of it, where they're constantly underdogs in what they're trying to do. They're just constantly trying to catch up, and everything is harder for them because they're trying to win. I mean, you really do get the idea. The whole through, they're trying to tail him, and it's like, oh man, they got 3 guys tailing him. That's brilliant. So that one guy, so that if they see this guy and then they see the other guy, then the third guy can tail him too, and it's they even if they're made or whatever. And there's that just wonderful, just amazing sequence where Hackman is tailing the one guy, tailing the main, main
Frog
dude,
one.
Frog one, and he, it's just like blah 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 blah, and then they get into the subway station, and he's like, he gets on, the other guy gets off, then he goes, well, and Gene Hackman's got to be like, oh, I forgot something on, and the guy gets back on, whatever, and then just the way it's shot is beautiful, just in the wide where he just comes up, and it's just so great, it's so great, and you just go, you after a while you just go, it is so hard. Police work is so hard to just out of thin air figure out what these people who are trying very hard not to let you know what they're doing are doing. Yeah. And it's just, and you just go, man, this is tough.
And it happens all throughout the movie. Even when Roy Scheider towards the very end, when he chases Sal Boca into the parking garage where he's getting his car pulled up. And he comes, it's almost like a horror movie. He steps out from behind a column. And you feel, you're like, oh my God, what is he going to say? Because it comes out of nowhere. Yeah. And he's like, but there's just moments like that throughout where it's just like, don't get made. Yeah. Don't get made. Yeah.
And Frogman knew the whole, and it's the very famous that thing, which gets repeated at the very so end. Wonderfully. You just go, oh yeah.
At the end, they successfully do the drug deal, and they're all parting ways, and Sal Boca is taking Frog One, the Frenchman, back to the airport or whatever.
Oh, sorry. Real quick. Well, no, go ahead.
Well, then they're just going over the bridge, and it has the best reveal
Just
of
so
like of an ambush I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because it's from the point of view of the car, and it shows them driving over, and then you just see
on the horizon.
Get reveal all these cars like blocking the bridgeway, and then Popeye walks up, and they lock eyes, and he just goes. It's so good. It's so great.
You just go because it's like the culmination of
So
all that
satisfying.
frustration.
Yeah.
You just go, yes. And what's up, Allie? How you doing? And then previous to that, it's great because it's this thing they get the car, I guess spoil. Yes, the shipment is in the car. They watch it all night. This car circles it 3 times, and they go, all right, they're there to pick it up. They get out, the guys get out, and then they go, all right, hit him, and they get him, and they're just random criminals stripping the car, and you're like, dang it. Then they take the car in, and Popeye's like, come on.
That's the whole breaking down the car to
so
find the drugs inside the car.
It's amazing.
And this is why the editing in that movie, and I think it won Best Editing, because also, guys, this movie won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and I think Best Editing. And
did it win Best Picture?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so when they're breaking down that car, the editing in that is so impactful because you can see over the course of it's probably 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The utter frustration and then the reality sit in on Gene Hackman's face, and there's a great shot
where they're
raising the car to reveal him, and he's just sitting there looking at it.
And you see it, because they basically
feel his heart, his frustration and heartbreak that it's not there, and he's doubting himself.
Exactly, Allie. And yes, it's this whole thing, and on his shoulders, because remember they've already taken them off the case first. And then he's like, you haven't gotten anything. You haven't gotten anything. And hanging over Popeye's head is this alluded to thing where he's like, I got a hunch.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, remember what happened last time one time you got a hunch and a cop got killed.
Yeah.
And that just hangs over. I mean, because what worse thing is there for a police officer to do or whatever? And it's like, and then this total, what a foil or what a dude you love to just whatever the Fed who's with them, and he keeps bringing it up, and he's like, I don't trust you. He's like, yeah, last time whatever, and they're like Popeye, it's over, and he's like, no, I just need more time. I can feel it. And the one guy goes like, yeah, last time you felt it, a cop got hit. It just takes, and you're just like, oh, I want to punch that guy, and Popeye goes for it, and they take him off, and you're like, they're off. It's the now obligatory moment in a movie where they're taken off the case.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot at by a sniper, so they're back on the case, which is amazing. And they get this car, and everything is riding on it because he's just like, I know this car is dirty, and they take it in, and they're stripping and they're pulling everything out, blah 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 blah, and it's just like this montage that is riveting.
It's riveting.
It's
fantastic.
And what they're doing is just taking this car apart, right? And then it goes, and you see the forearm. It just the cars went, and you just see a guy's legs and the forearm, and you go that's Hackman, and you're just waiting to see his face, and it goes, and it's just desperation. And then there's that great moment where it's just he's like
I've taken everything out of this car.
Yeah, and he's like it's in there, I know it. He's like, you find it, I can't.
Yeah.
And then it's just
he's like, the only thing I haven't done, and then he's like, oh, come on, Herb, what the hell is that?
Well, and it's this great turn because Roy Scheider toward the
they discover the weight
as the movie goes on. I mean, there's a reason Hackman got nominated for actor and Scheider got nominated for supporting actor because they're here, but then it becomes kind of about Hackman dealing with.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And but Roy Scheider is just the other thing is I just love Roy Scheider. I just love him.
Great.
I just love being around him.
In the movie,
and it's just they're I don't know. I don't. Well, whatever. It just there were even line deliveries once or twice where I was like, I almost don't buy that. But I just love Roy Scheider so much that I just want to be in his presence. I want him talking all the time. I just love him.
Yeah.
I love him. I rest him. But and there's this whole thing, and then Scheider goes, wait a second.
What's the weight on?
What's the weight on that car? And he goes, this, and he goes, wait, really? And it's just such a great moment.
Because what we have when we clocked it in the impound, it's this. It's 120 pounds.
Yeah.
It's 120 pounds over.
And he just kind of, one of the good was to give it a negative review. 98%. Plus the car chase when he's chilling him out is amazing. Amazing. Best supporting actor, cinematography, best sound. Yeah. Sequest, DSV. That's great.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I remember Sequest for sure.
Oh, because he was on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jonathan Brandis. And then it's great. And it's just this great moment where he's like, I took everything but the rocker place, and he's like, what are you doing, man? Like, and they pull it out. It's there. They take it all out, and it's this great, like,
so satisfying.
It's
great, so satisfying.
And they pull it out, and then they pull out all these packages, and they go, oh man.
Yeah.
And then it's this great, like, Ocean's 11. I mean, it's weird to refer to Ocean's 2001 movie, but it's this great Ocean's 11 movie where you see that, and then they cut, and the guys are talking about, he's like, we need our car. Our car. And Scheider comes up and goes, hey, your car's outside. And you go, oh, here it comes. The paddy wagon's outside. They're going to whatever. And they go, no, they got the car. And they're like, okay. Oh, but they didn't put the stuff back in there. They definitely kept it an impound. Whatever. They go, no, they let him go through the entire deal.
Dude.
The whole deal.
And you're like, big boys.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine after months and months of this investigation and not catching a break and not catching a break and not catching a break? I mean, the self-control to be like, no, let him keep going.
Yeah.
Let him keep going. Let him keep going. Let him make the deal.
Yeah.
Let him whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And then boom. And then there's the thing.
And Derek makes it this is the only thing that I have a huge question mark about.
I think they put the same one back together.
But it is crazy because they tore that car apart.
They did.
And they actually, and what's interesting is just a little movie note, they used the actual police garage where they do that stuff.
Wow.
And everybody who's featured in the scene except for Roy Scheider and Gene Hackman, I think even the head mechanic guy
is not an actor.
They're all police.
Those performances are amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And it makes me go, because it makes me just go, Friedkin, he must be amazing at working with actors.
Oh, I think he is.
Because
it's a testament. If there's one thing across that is consistent across all his movies, it is that he gets fascinating performances out of his actors.
And then the other thing, the other thing that is a testament to that is Blue Chips, where he worked with Shaquille O'Neal and Anthony Hardaway and Matt Nover, who was who had the highest field goal percentage in the nation as a college.
I think they're
senior.
acting in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They're huge parts.
I gotta watch this movie.
And it's whatever. But he also casts a lot of a couple of of Nick Nolte's assistant coaches. One of them is Bob Cousy, who is such a legendary NBA star that he's literally, no, he's not. Darn it. I always think this and I'm wrong. I was going to say he's the silhouette on the NBA logo, but
wow.
That's actually Jerry West. It's not Bob Cousy. But Bob Cousy is he's one of the I don't know if anyone whatever. He dribbled out the ball. He played for the Celtics. He's a point. Anyway, whatever. He's just huge, and he's this assistant. You've never seen Blue Chips. Never mind. I can't talk to you about
Blue Chips. I don't care about basketball.
I know, but there's a scene where he's an old dude by the time Blue Chips is doing it, and there's a scene where Nick Nolte is talking to his assistant coach, and his assistant coach is shooting free throws, and it's this beautiful wide shot, and he just makes while they're talking, he just makes a million in a row.
Cool.
And you just kind of like, oh man. And then later I realized that's Bob Cousy, and I was like, no wonder he can make a billion free throws in a row. And then Marcus Johnson, anyway, it is Jerry West. Yes, Al, you're right. I always think it's Bob Cousy for some reason. It's just whatever. Friedkin amazing, absolutely. I want to read that.
An urban crime thriller which undeserved acclaim for its efficient but unremarkable elevated railway chase and its clumsy, showy emphasis on grainy, sordid realism. Fuck you.
Well, and the thing is,
what a dick. Who wrote that?
Some dude in 2006.
Oh.
Which makes sense. I feel like the only way that you could possibly not like it is going backward.
That makes that review even worse, though.
I know. Jeff Andrew of Time Out magazine. Okay.
Guess what?
I mean, you can not like it. I don't.
No,
you
can't.
Okay.
Not for those reasons. Ew.
Yeah, 1970. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But then the ending. So after all this, right? You've gone through this whole thing with them. You felt the crushing pressure. You've actually, they've shown you how boring it is without actually being boring.
Yeah, right.
How tedious. How impossible. How frustrated at every turn, how much no one is on your side, and it's just blah 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 blah, and then they get him, right? And that, like, I mean, they're driving, they see the police blockade, they go, crap, everyone drives back, there's a shootout, and Gene Hackman gets out of the car and he's like, there's one guy I gotta get, and it's the French guy, it's the head of this whole thing. And he's going through, and blah 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 blah, and it's so great how they even foreshadow with Roy Scheider coming in, and he's like, and you're just like, oh man, he almost shot Roy Scheider, and you're like, great, Cloudy and Popeye are together. This is great. This is what I want. They're going after the dude, and like, and you just like, and then he sees him run, and he goes, drop it, and he shoots, blows the silhouette away. The guy falls down, and as they're walking, and you just know because of the way the movie's treating it, you go, it's that guy.
Yeah,
it's not, and like you go, they got him, and then you go. And you're like, wait, why? There's something about the way it's playing out. It's just, whatever. And you just go, it's that guy. And they flip him over, and yep. And it's just whatever. And then he goes, and he's like, I gotta go get it. And it's that thing where Scheider's like, you shot the federal agent.
I swear, it's the best. Like, it's. I feel like it's the reason Hackman won the Academy Award, because how he plays that moment, because he sees him, and his face does this thing where his eyes, and then
he goes, crap, and his brain goes,
and
then
he immediately snaps. You see him snap out of it, and then it cuts to Roy Scheider, and then it cuts back, and he's already emptying out the bullets. He's like, the son of a bitch is here.
He's like, I got it.
I'm gonna get him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, there's nothing. And the look in his eyes is like, it's desperate.
Yeah.
But he's like, I have no other option in this moment right now. I have no other option, and neither do you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go get him.
Yeah. And it's almost like, especially now, but also it's almost like he goes, it doesn't
matter.
Yeah. It's
he's
just
dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sorry, we'll do it later. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just great. And then he runs off. All right, take it easy, Gene. Lots of love. Thank you so much. Thank you for the resub. Hope things have been wonderful with you. Lots of love. And then he goes and he runs off, and it's brilliant. There's just a gunshot, and then it cuts to black, and you go,
what happened?
What happened? Did he get shot? Did he shoot the guy? Whatever.
And I'm so glad they did that as opposed to what they originally were going to plan.
Which was
he walks off, and they filmed all this, and they even cut it together. And it was him starting to have a hallucinogenic. It was going to be this hallucinatory sequence where he's continuing to walk through the factory, and he starts seeing people starting to run at him, and it's him. And it's him in the Santa suit from the beginning of the movie, and it's him like with his fucking pie hat on, running at him in like another outfit.
Him in the Royal Tenenbaums.
And it's all these different versions of him apparently trying to attack him, and he's like firing the gun, and it's supposed to be him like lost in like some purgatory Hades type thing, and then he never finds them. Something to that effect. Sounds terrible.
I don't know. That's interesting.
That's
interesting.
Maybe, but it's so much more effective to just see him literally have that moment of like, I gotta get him.
Yeah.
And then they literally, like, the way it's filmed is it cuts to him leaving that scene and leaving Roy Scheider, and then like maybe one or more two shots of him walking, and then it cuts to him passing by the camera and then just walking off into the distance, and then he disappears into a corridor far at the opposite end of where the camera's at in a wide shot, and he just kind of cuts across and takes a beat, and then
blam,
boom, and it cuts to black. And it's so simple.
It's great.
It's simple.
It's great.
And it's so effective.
Yeah, exactly, Derek. You go, what happened? And the way it ends, you kind of go, yeah, if he got him, then we would have. Yeah, and well, see, that's interesting. That's it. To me, that's an interesting ending too. But this one, it certainly would have come out of left field for this movie.
Right.
But it would have made that 2006 reviewer not make that crack about over reliance on realism.
Yeah.
So maybe for him. But yeah, and then it just cuts, and then it tells you what happened to these people, and it just goes. I mean, and it's like
nobody gets in. Like everybody gets off.
This guy, like, you know, the main guy they're going after, Weinstock, right? Who like bankrolled. He's a huge dude who bankrolled another huge heroin, whatever. He gets released. Not enough evidence. the wife of the guy who kind of set it up stateside, Angie. She gets bugged, but then it's her. Yeah, it's a misdemeanor, and her sentence is not commuted, is suspended. There's one, and then it cuts to that guy. I mean, very, very pointedly, that shot of that guy, and it goes of the French guy. Never caught him. Who knows where he went?
Never caught him. Presumed to be living in France.
Yeah. Certainly living up. I thought it was adorable. It was really interesting how they showed his life with his girlfriend, and they showed a little bit of like the criminals' lives and stuff. Like I was like, oh, so he's just trying to make him and his brother.
It works.
His brother, they like hug after the thing, and they're like, oh, they're gonna be. I'm like, I'm pulling for him a little bit.
It's great because you really do like when they come over the bridge. I literally thought about. I was like, oh, he's got a wife. Yeah. And that's gonna break her heart, and he's doing this just so he can get at, you understood, and it's just like that's the best type of villain is the one who's playing it, or at least you're being presented someone who's not necessarily a villain. Yes, absolutely, I agree completely. Great. Take that, Jeff Andrew of Time Out Mag. Yes, no, and it's just so whole, it's just so even-handed, it just makes it much more whatever, and it's not even, and because like scoot the movie over, just a few feet, and I'm rooting for Sal. You know what I mean? It's like it's very, but I thought it was adorable that she buys him that coat, and she's like, "It's cold in America," and then it shows them when they're driving the car off, and then it pans up to them. He's wearing the coat. I was like, that's adorable. Yeah, that's so cute. But and it shows that guy nothing. Another guy, like. Convicted, like 4 years. Oh, the actor gets the most extreme sentence. That's what's so hilarious out of all of it.
Exactly. The guy who it's almost suggested didn't even know it was a drug deal.
He didn't know.
Just
and like, the second he found out it was anything more than him bringing a car over. Yeah.
I mean, he was getting paid a whole lot of money.
He knew there was something up, but he was like, "What have you gotten me into?" Exactly. And then the second he found out that he was just like, "No, I'm out," and he got the most extreme sentence. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just such a. It leaves you, and it's like basically no one got any, and then it goes Popeye and Cloudy were reassigned and taken off special assignment, and they're just I mean, I don't know, they're not beat cops.
It's so matter of fact.
Yeah, and it just ending, goes. That's it.
And it's so beautiful because of that.
And it makes you. I just came away sick to my stomach.
Oh, but I love endings that are so succinct, and it's just like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened, and then.
And there you go.
And then there's the credits.
And that's it.
And that's how a lot of Jean-Pierre Melville movies, which I realize, again, every time I say his name, I'm like, boy, do I sound like a pretentious art snob.
Call him Johnny Melville.
But he makes these great, he's a French filmmaker, and he makes these great noir heist movies. Yeah. And capers and crime capers and stuff. And his movies always ended like that, where it was just like, oh, he got away or he died. Yeah. One or the other. Yeah. And it was like, and then boom, and this happened, and boom, 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 boom. And it's just like, it's so workmanlike. Yeah. Because okay, on to the next job or whatever like that. And I love endings like that that are so anticlimactic that it serves a
meaningful, yes.
But exactly. Meaningful, and it's just like, okay, well, what's going on?
And that's the point. Like it without just presenting it without pomp or any sort of affected anything. Yeah. Triggers in you the response that you're meant to have, and it's great. Yeah, villains and enemies like Anton Chigurh, the best bad guys, like they're not bad. It's just all they know. Yeah, sure. Well, and these dudes, I felt with Sal, I was just like, he and his brother, it's just like, I was like, they just pulled this job and that's it. Like they're just gonna go be happy with this money. I think maybe not.
But also then you're like, they brought in $32 million of heroin.
True.
To supply all of New York City with heroin. Yeah.
True. It was a great movie of the choice. I loved it. Great. Had you not seen it?
Oh, that's awesome.
I hope you had not seen it, and then now
this is like my 20th time seeing it, and I swear to you, I can watch it. I never get tired of watching this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I
really love it.
I truly enjoyed it, and I don't. That's great, Derek. That's what this is all about. I love it. I love it. All right, so it's getting late.
Exorcist next week.
We're doing The Exorcist next week, and all through October, we are going to be doing horror movies. Now,
I only have one suggestion that I want to throw in here.
Yeah.
And we can talk about if we want to do it or not. I have never seen the Donald Sutherland, Julie Christie movie called Don't Look Back.
Let's do it.
Don't Look Back?
Don't Look Now.
Don't Look Now.
I have not seen all of it.
You have seen it?
I own it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Nicholas Rowe.
Is it a horror movie?
It's definitely a horror movie.
Can we do that one?
Sure.
Because I've never seen it.
Yeah.
And I would like to do at least one that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. So like we were talking about we were talking about for sure gonna watch this one, Rock and Roll. Oh, dude, don't apologize. We just asked that at the beginning to make everyone feel guilty. No, we asked that so we know what level of who we're talking to, if people have seen it or not seen it, how much we can kind of whatever. And The Exorcist, Rock and Roll, dude. I'm just so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here, guys. I've said this a million times. I hope. This is like a dream come true for me. I love getting to talk about movies with you guys. It's what I love to do. I will never not love doing that. And thank you for being part of it. So we're going to do horror movies for the month of October. It's unfortunate we only get 4. Unless we do more. But no.
There's so many.
Yeah, we could double up a couple times or something if we find two that make sense to do together. We'll see. I love you, honey. Thank you so much, dude.
That's so sweet.
Dude. Exorcist still holds up to me. Yeah, the stair scene was not originally in it either.
Yeah, that's in the director's cut. And it's great.
And this is why, so this is like partially, I know we kind of jumped around chronologically because this is set, like French Connection is before Mean Streets and before Godfather and Godfather 2. But whatever. I like the way it ended up because The Exorcist was also directed by William Friedkin. This is not William Friedkin, this is Gene Hackman. But William Friedkin, who directed The French Connection. And I'm watching The French Connection and I'm just like, man, like it's been years since I'd seen either of them. It's been longer since I've seen The Exorcist. And I'm like, I'm really looking forward to like seeing if there's a through line or if there's a...
There is.
This is interesting.
He did The French Connection and then he did The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And then he did this movie called Sorcerer, which we're going to do too.
Yeah.
And it's 3 of some of the just best movies. But seriously, French Connection, which again, it holds a dear place in my heart. And then The Exorcist, which is to this day still, for my money, I do think in terms of like if we're talking horror movies, and I always think The Exorcist is more of a drama, but like it is a horror movie, and I think it's the best horror movie ever.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. That's interesting, Derek. That's very interesting. You asked earlier what my favorite genre is. Mm-hmm. It's drama.
Cool.
It's just drama.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, drama.
Cool.
Maybe with honestly, the kind of stuff that gets nominated for Oscars every year. It's like what, cool. Stuff like.
Now, would you classify something like Braveheart as drama?
I not primarily. Braveheart's fantastic.
Agreed, and it's an Oscar winner.
And it is a drama, but it's.
We talking your Shawshanks?
It's like a war movie. I'm talking like
Shawshanks.
I'm talking Assassination of Jesse James.
Yeah, but that's a Western.
It is, but it doesn't have to be.
But see, this is where the bleed over comes in, where I'm like, sci-fi. Like even with Alien, I'm like, Alien to me feels more sci-fi, but it is 110% a horror movie.
Yeah, and also yes. Yeah, and it's almost like
it's both.
It's almost a drama too. I mean, it's not. It is, but yeah, and it really, honestly, I just like, but like stuff like
Jesse James is a drama, by the way.
It is
without question.
Yeah, I know people go like, oh, it's they're like, oh, great westerns, and I'm like, or well, not enough people say that, but like, so like it's a western, and I'm like. Yeah, they're wearing hats.
But it's not 3:10 to Yuma.
Yeah, it's not exactly, which I was like, that's so crazy because those two came out that year and like 3:10 went on and I was like,
the lesser of the
what
two.
What is going?
3:10
is fine. It's fine.
But it's not.
But it's not. Yeah. And I just love, and then Killing Him Softly, which I love Killing Him Softly, which is him as well, Andrew Dominic. And yeah. And this made me want to watch Killing Him Softly because I was like, oh, I love it, but it's also. I mean, it's a crime film, but it's also just a drama. I mean, it's
drama. Yeah,
it's great. I mean, stuff like 5 Easy Pieces. I mean, just stuff like that sort of thing. something that is going to move me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something that's going to move me. I mean, that's really it. Something like, yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, honestly, if I'm going to put it, if I'm going to really break it down, anything that exactly the same. If I get an emotional response,
Yes.
that's my favorite genre.
Yes, I agree.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
We do. And I love it, honey. Had you watched it before? I can't. Zigzag Nave. So, but real quick. So we're gonna watch The Exorcist. We had talked great Zigzag. Thank you for the follow. Lots of love. We have talked. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I love that so much, honey. I love it so much. That's what this is about, dude. That is what this is about. The greatest thing that can come from this, besides the fact that I just love doing it, is for someone to have not seen a movie and then watch it because we talked about it. I mean, it doesn't. That makes it sound like I want it to be us. That I'm just saying, like, the service that I want to provide is like to talk about a movie. Someone goes and watches it that they wouldn't have watched otherwise and loves it.
It's so cool.
I love that so much. That is. I think that is the greatest thing that like film criticism can aspire to.
Without question.
Or like illuminating something about a film that you had not seen before, or whatever, that you had not recognized before, whatever. All of it. Just enjoy. Just appreciating art. We had talked about, so we definitely talked about The Exorcist. We also talked about doing, I mean, it's hard to beat these. The Thing, The Fly. What was another one? The Thing, The Fly, The Exorcist. What was another one we talked about?
We had talked about
Alien.
Alien, The Thing, The Fly. What was the last one?
Alien, The Thing, The Fly, and Exorcist.
And The Exorcist.
Are the ones we talked about. The thing is, like, I want this to be an ongoing conversation. I want you guys to think about it because, like, those are just the ones I mean, those are like, yeah. There's not a single questionable thing about any of those. But do we want to do sort of some more off the beaten path stuff? You know, talk about Avengers: Infinity War, please. I've not seen it. I would love it. I need to see it. And maybe we can double up. Think about it. I don't know. Don't Look Now. I'm happy to put that on there. I never finished watching it. The problem is that there's something I know about it that will ruin part of it for me.
Oh, really?
I'll just say that.
Okay.
But I need to watch it. I never finished watching it. Nicholas Roeg is a very interesting dude.
Never seen any of his
Walkabout.
Stuff. Never. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So I have seen. Okay. So I saw.
Man Who Fell to Earth.
Oh, with
David Bowie.
Yeah.
Some other stuff. You dig into him and you're like, oh, and he's like he's interesting. He's a master editor as well. Very interesting. Anyway,
I think that definitely Exorcist next week. And then I think that we'll have locked in everything else by the time we do Exorcist next week, and we'll give you the full October schedule.
And I'm interested, guys, if you have horror movies that you feel strongly about, I'm not going to go, because we've only got 4 unless we double up, and I'm willing to do that. Because I want to do, there's a movie, there's The Haunting, the original Haunting is fantastic.
Yeah.
You've seen it? Oh, I love it. Because it just builds to it, and then it's just,
it's great.
Pow. I also, I thought about this today, but I was like, nah, it's just me. But there's a movie, do you see Martha Marcy May Marlene?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's not a horror movie, but I feel like it's a horror movie.
I think we should do a whole cult.
Are there enough?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Is the sorcerer count? What's the
you can do all right, come back to me.
The only movies are total cliches. The Godfather, Shawshank. Strong Feelings, you like it? Does Clockwork Orange count as... Oh, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I liked it. I really liked it. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects be seen as horror or gore? Probably both.
Yeah.
Dude, because like there's Texas Chainsaw. I mean, there's Texas Chainsaw is like... I mean, there's Halloween. I mean... It
could be interesting to, honestly, to do Texas Chainsaw and do the remake and compare and contrast.
Yeah. Well, we got some things to think about. Because the thing is like... And I get that. I get that, Allie. I stopped watching horror when my wife and I essentially started spending all the time together, which has been like, now it's been
This guy hasn't seen a horror movie.
20. I haven't seen
in a while.
I saw Hereditary, and that was the first one I'd seen in a long time. She likes suspense stuff. Like we watched The Quiet Place and stuff like that. But she's just like, we're doing new horror. I mean, I'm open. I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff that I've not seen that I just kind of.
I just haven't seen a new horror.
You know, I've never seen that people legitimately are like, it's really great. Is like the original. What's the thing with the security cameras and the ghost? I sound like an old person.
Paranormal. Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
I watch every single because they usually come out every October.
Yeah.
And I always catch them.
And they're great.
Not always, but I still.
But the first
one's
have
great. A hell of a time with them. Honestly, I think like the third or fourth one's truly fantastic.
Really,
the first one's good.
Oh.
Especially because they made it for like
$7,000
or whatever.
I watched A Quiet Place and was like, good premise, good premise, good for John Krasinski, solid movie. I think Jeff loved it.
I loved it.
A lot of new horror is corny. True story. Yeah, it's true.
Have you seen Conjuring? Conjuring was good.
I haven't seen that.
I saw the first Conjuring and I thought that was great. I have not seen Eraserhead, and boy,
we need to do a whole Lynch thing.
We should do a whole Lynch thing.
Because I was like, does 7 count as horror? It doesn't really, but like I think people would lump it in there. It's a crime movie.
It's a crime movie,
but it's so great.
You got to take precedent of like what is the dominant genre of the film you're talking about. Because like, I mean, we're forgetting Halloween. You know?
Yeah. I've never seen Freddy Krueger. I've seen the original Friday the 13th.
I've seen them all now. I've seen all the Friday 13s. They're lovely. I love all of them. They're fun to watch.
Yes, that's 7, Allie. Oh, it's a great movie. It is one of my favorite movies by far.
You know what's... I don't know if this classifies as horror thriller, or What Lies Beneath.
I've never seen it.
Oh, no!
It's Zemeckis. I've always wanted, yeah.
It is delightful.
Someone told me the ending.
That sucks, but it's
still good.
Great.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of my favorite Zemeckis movies that no one ever talks about. Has anybody seen What Lies Beneath with Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford? It's so good.
Yeah, I've heard lots of that. That's always been something that we, But see, we're also. I mean, we could watch Gremlins. Like, there's The Frighteners, which I've never seen.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that has the possibility of, because my favorite Peter Jackson film is King Kong.
Really?
By a long shot.
I think, you know what's funny? King Kong
I've never seen
is my most
Heavenly
watched
Creatures.
Peter Jackson movie.
Yeah.
Because I just put it on the background. I love just being in that world.
I've never seen Eyes Without a Face.
Never seen that one. Jacob's Ladder is...
I just
watched that
great.
2 weeks
Jacob's
ago for
Ladder
the first time.
Fantastic.
Whew.
Jacob's Ladder, it's weird. It's horror and it turns into something else, but it's definitely, I mean, it's horror.
Probably the
psychological horror. Yeah, exactly.
Psychological horror, yeah.
Brad Pitt get famous because of a pretty face. But he definitely can. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Brad Pitt is...
Jesse James.
Go watch Assassination
Babel.
Jesse James. Babel.
Those two alone.
Yeah. Cool World.
Cool World.
Johnny Suede.
Johnny Suede.
I've not seen.
Those are two separate movies?
Yes.
They are?
Yeah.
I get those two confused.
I understand that.
Yeah.
We need to watch Cool World. Well, do we need to watch Cool World? I don't know. I've never seen it. I've seen parts of it. The good parts. No, I didn't. Wait, literally, Cool World is about.
Isn't it like Roger Rabbit?
It came out like a year or two after Roger Rabbit, and it's Ralph Bakshi animation, and it's Gabriel Byrne, and he's an animator who gets trapped in a world of his own creation, which, by the way, there is an FMV game, as we were talking about, called Toonstruck, that has the same premise and stars Christopher Lloyd.
Whoa.
It's awesome. But he comes into a world, he gets trapped in a world of his own creation, one of which creations is Hollywood, played by Kim Basinger, and drawn as they're like, oh, Jessica Rabbit, check out this. Wow. And I was a kid, I was like, Bahama. Excuse me.
Tommy Bahama.
And then I did say Tommy Bahama. And the way at least part of the premise, a significant part of the premise, is that she is constantly trying to get her creator, who is a male physical person in the cartoon world to have sex with her because that way she can cross over into the physical world.
I buy it.
Yep. Cool World's an awesome movie. Rock and Roll. And Brad Pitt, I believe, is... They did Cool World speed run. That's awesome. Brad Pitt, I believe, is like a cop detective after Gabriel Byrne. I mean, hey, I need to watch that. Never heard of Cool World. You've never heard of Cool World? You never heard of Cool World? Okay, we should get out of here. So anyway. Exorcist for sure next week.
Yes, for sure. Watch it. It's great. It's really great, and it's genuinely scary and just moving and wonderful, and I love it.
Yeah, and then man, we've certainly have not finished the New Hollywood. But after October, we'll see how this goes, and then we'll see where we go. I mean, we will certainly finish out the New Hollywood, but we may jump to something else. I don't know because now at this point we've gotten to 74, and then it just kind of opens up because so many things start being included in this thing.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I mean, we could. I mean, this is maybe a conversation, but we could almost jump ahead to the end of it and kind of do. I mean, I've never seen the last movie, but we could jump ahead and we could watch Heaven's Gate. I don't know. We could do Jaws. We could do stuff. I mean, like what? I mean,
yeah, Jaws.
We did Godfather Part 2, and
we'll have to do Jaws, and we'll have to do Star Wars.
We absolutely have to.
Like, well, maybe we can just talk about Star Wars, but I mean, that's what brought it. Heaven's Gate brought it to the end, and then those two opened up the 80s.
It's like Heaven's Gate, and it's like it's fascinating, really, because it's a combination of a couple movies, but Heaven's Gate, and then like last movie maybe, and One from the Heart, One from the Heart. They've mentioned, which is Coppola's musical.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
You have?
Oh, it's remarkable.
Oh, I really want to watch it.
It's got some of the most gorgeous photography I've ever seen.
It's got to.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I would love to watch it.
It's like, I'm like, wow, I can see why that movie cost as much as it did.
It's not 5 hours long, but it might be
it's
3
long.
and something.
It's 3 and change.
Yeah. But I love it. Having seen it once, I think it's beautiful.
And I have not watched it. It's great. I've made it about half hour in.
There's a lot of stuff we haven't watched too. Anyway, whatever. We'll talk about it. Guys,
I love you guys.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's effing 2 o'clock in the morning. Thank you for staying late.
Yes, man. I gotta go pee.
Do it. I'm gonna rate us. We're gonna rate up somebody. And guys, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely. Let's see who we're